Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another fantastic homeless romantic podcast. We got somebody coming to us live on the road in rare form. We've got motorcycles going by. This is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. We got my good friend from the band Yes Ma'am, Matt Costanza.
What's good? What's good? Thanks for having me.
Can't stand ya.
Actually, not my last name, but you know.
I love it. Well, we don't want real last names, so.
Nah, we don't. There's some people that do want it. That's the problem. There's all kinds of sirens and shit. This is gonna be good, dude.
I know. This is real. Somebody just died.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
So everybody's just hang on to your seats because this is what it's like. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, what is the road like? Sitting in a field behind a gas station. This is it. To give you this waiting around. I'm actually in a car right now, but the service was bad, so I had to pull over. But I ain't got nothing but time, so we're good.
So all y'all listening, you know who you are. You've been there, sleeping in the bush, outside the fucking Loves.
Corn dog heaven.
Yeah. Nah, we're having a good time with it. But yeah, so what's up? You're from the East Coast, but you spent some time in my neck of the woods. I'm from Denver. What's up?
Yeah, originally from South Carolina. I lived in Denver when I was like 17 till I was like 20. That was like one of my first trips out. I remember I left home. I rode my first train when I was like 16, and I would go back to Richmond and Florence and back a bunch. And then I slowly would trickle out on trips, and I'd make it down to New Orleans. I'd get homesick, turn back around, go back home. And then finally on one of my big trips, I finally made it out to Denver. And that was like kind of one of my first like big community punk. It's okay to be gay. Like, here's some, like, we go to protests, we do food, not bombs. That was like one of the real like punk communities I got involved with other than my hometown, which was on such a smaller scale. And I just fell in love with it. Like, fell in love for the first time in Denver. Just like total freedom, punk house, 12 people, 14 dogs situation, which was just fucking awesome. So yeah, Denver holds a special spot in my heart.
Yeah. I was up on the north side. When I was 20, I went and worked at a place called the Oriental Theater, which was in North Denver. But the cool place was to be on like South Broadway, at Three Kings, or all the hipsters would go to the High Dive. But then I'd also go to the bar, and there was a bar like across the street from that.
Yeah, the Speakeasy or whatever, Ron's.
Yeah. And then what? Then the bus station is not far from there. But yeah, good times at the bar for sure, and all the heavy metal shows and stuff. Planes Mistaken for Stars and all those times. Hardcore, grindcore. I don't know what the kids call it. I like Japanese like pop music from the 70s.
Dude, yeah, we're getting we're getting older, and the music's getting broader. It's a good thing. I'm slowly drowning out metal in my playlist, like, you know, punk fucking all day, but like it's getting harder and harder to listen to metal. I'm glad that I got my country roots, because, you know, I'm not going to be fucking listening to Christfucker when I'm fucking 65 in a rocking chair.
It's hard to rock your chair in rhythm to something like that.
It's true. Congo. Sorry, my dogs.
Yeah, keep an eye on that sweet man boy Congo.
Yeah.
So how'd you get to New Orleans? What was the first time you got to New Orleans?
First time I got to New Orleans.
Or you probably don't even remember. That's how it is. That's how it goes.
No. Well, I do remember, because it was a pretty traumatic situation. Did you ever stay at the abandoned rice factory off Charter Street, like by the old iron rail?
Oh, we'd go there in the daytime, not nighttime. I squatted the Plan B that used to be the bike store right there at the Anarchist book store.
Yeah, so like that was the spot, and that's like where everybody would park their cars, and like, but you know, then we were squatting the rice factory. I ended up actually falling through the floor there from the second story, which is like, you know, a 30-foot drop.
What?
Yeah, we were squatting with a couple of my friends from my hometown, and I remember we were in Pensacola on the way there, and like there was this fucking adorable like young. I mean, he's like older than me at the time. He was probably like 19, but he was just like sitting in the train yard, and he was like this like adorable little gay boy, and he was just like, "Can I go with you guys?" And we were like, "Fuck yeah!" You know, we're like wasted, like, "Yeah, let's take this fucking kid on a train." And we ended up like bonding super hard. And like my whole life I've been told, you know, it's like wrong to be gay. Like, don't, you know, even in the punk scene in South Carolina, they're kind of gnarly. So they're like, you know, like they like, you know, they'll joke around and say gay in like a negative way kind of situation. So, but I remember we were drunk in the Rice Factory and we were making out, and my friend called me a faggot, like as a joke, but like I took it to heart and like got really upset, and I left the group and was like walked really far away on the second floor to just go pass out and pout. And that's all I remember. And I apparently fell through the floor, and they didn't know that I had fallen. But I guess somebody heard me who was coming into the squad on the first floor and heard somebody like whimpering. And when you go into the first door of the Rice Factory, there's just desk and tables. Like you can't walk the first floor. Like you just immediately have to hit the staircase and go up. And as he's walking in, he heard me, and he climbed over all these desks and found me, like bleeding from my skull. I couldn't walk. And he just picked me up and brought me to the second floor and brought me to my friends. And was like, "Hey, your buddy just like fell through the fucking floor. Like, here's your friend." Turns out I never got to really hash it out with this dude, but Will, like Big Will, who writes Mind Detergent, who passed away a couple years ago. Apparently, they told me it was like this giant dude in overalls, and this is the guy, he writes Mind Detergent. He's the guy that pulled you up and brought you to us. And I never really got to talk to him after that again. And so the story goes that it was him. I'm not sure if it was or not, but that's what I was told. So like after that, you know, I'd be riding trains all over the country, and I would see his tag everywhere, and I'm like chasing this dude, trying to like thank him for like saving my life. Anyhow, my friends found me. They just like wrapped a bandana around my head. They're like all blacked out on space bags. They're like, "Oh, he'll be fine." And then like the poor little gay dude I was making out with, he was like, "Fuck that. This dude needs to go to the fucking hospital," and like picked me up and carried me downstairs. An ambulance drove by, flagged it down, took me to the hospital. I fractured my skull. I have a giant scar all the way down my head. My entire legs were blue. I couldn't walk for like 3 weeks, but I was also 17 at the time, and they were trying to emancipate me and put me in a children's home.
Oh, Jesus.
And they wouldn't let me leave the hospital unless I had a bus ticket home. And this is like my second time making it that far west. So I was like, no, I am not going back home. Like, dude, no, I've made it this far. Like every time I get to New Orleans, I turn around. I'm not doing this. Or actually, that was the first time I was in New Orleans, but that was the furthest west I'd been. And so my buddy, we were headed to Austin. His mom lived in Austin. And I got a bus ticket to his mom's house, and she just took care of me while they all hitchhiked to Austin. But yeah, I was on crutches, like hitchhiking for like a couple weeks after that.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, I do. I don't remember my first time in New Orleans, but I heard about it. Yeah. Yeah. So that was pretty fucked.
Oh man. Jesus Christ, you just get bad luck, because I heard about the story about you trying to charge your phone while you're always hitchhiking everywhere, and then you just, where were you? What happened with this?
So this wasn't that long ago. This was like, I'm so bad with fucking time. I'm gonna assume that it was like 3-4 months ago. Might have been fucking 7. I have no idea. But so I've been in my hometown, just kind of laying low in between tours, and like I got nothing to do, got no job, whatever. So I just keep riding these trains that are leaving my hometown, because I've never been here long enough to figure out the train routes. So I'm just getting on whatever's leaving. Like they're all pretty short rides, but I'm trying to figure it out, because, you know, I want to take my buddies on these like night trips there and ride back. And so I get on this one train, and it's like turning, it's like hitting a Y and going in opposite direction I've never been in. I'm like, oh shit, like it could be going 4 different places. I've never been this way. Anyhow, I ended up in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and which is just a total shithole. And then it's this tiny little dinky train yard, and I get off the train, and there's like this church. It's a fucking church, right? There's like a playground in the back. There's a church. It's not Sunday. They're fucking closed. So I'm looking for an outlet to charge my phone. to be fair, I'm wasted. Like, I'm drinking, this is like 8, 9 in the morning. Like, I didn't sleep at all on the train. I'm just drinking vodka. So, you know, I'm not in my best state of mind, but I'm also not being belligerent or anything. I'm just charging my phone, just sitting there, and like a lady comes by and like she's going in the building, and I'm like kind of like with my head in my hands, like just waiting for my phone to charge. And she kind of scared me. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just like charging my phone. She's like, oh, you're fine, like don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay, cool, there's my permission, I'm allowed to be here, I'm just charging my phone. And then I see some workers in the yard, so I leave my phone. The yard's directly behind this church, so I walk over to the yard to go talk to a worker, because I'm like, there's no way I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, I need to know if there's a train coming, or else I'm going to hitchhike back home. Talk to the worker. He's like, you're fucked. Trains never stop here. I don't even know how you got here, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, great. So like, I'm going to walk back to my phone and wait for it to turn on and get directions and hitchhike home. And as I'm walking back to my phone, I see this giant like redneck pickup truck, and I'm like parked right in front, and I'm walking, and then I see fucking like Hulk Hogan, like, dude, fucking holding a baseball bat in his hand. He's like, where's your friend? Where's your friend? I'm like, I'm alone. Like, what's up? And he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing here? This is like, and then turns out he's like screaming about how there's children everywhere. Okay, so I don't see any children. I'm like convinced that the building is closed. I guess it's like also a daycare center. So like me sitting out there looking like a weirdo is kind of like on me, you know, like maybe I shouldn't have charged my phone there, but granted, like your backyard is a train yard. Like surely you've seen this before. And I'm just charging my phone. Like I'm away from the door. Like I'm not blocking anything. All my gear is in the bushes. Like I'm not like blowing up the spot. I just want to charge my phone. And I was like trying to talk to him, but he's just screaming at me, like just holding the bat like back, like he's about to fucking hit me with it. So I'm like walking, like almost like crawling, trying to get to my fucking phone. And I was like, I'll leave. I'm sorry. Just like apologizing, not getting rude with this dude. And I go to grab my phone that's plugged into the outlet, and he fucking kicks the phone out of my fucking hand and shoves me to the ground, and it just hits me with the fucking baseball bat. As I'm like, you know, telling this, as I'm leaving, like I'm trying to leave. And like he didn't like fucking full on hit me with the bat, right? Like he kind of like just shoved it into me. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, it wasn't, but at the time I was like, okay, next swing is my fucking head and I'm dead, right? Like this dude is fucking huge. He's not listening to anything I'm saying. And then, yeah, that was it. I mean, he just hit me once, and then like he shoved me to the ground, hit me. I got my shit and just walked away. And then I just immediately just started bawling. I was like, fucking Steinbeck novel. I was like, people hate the poor. This is so fucking ridiculous. I just wanted to charge my phone. And I remember him screaming about how like I was taking up their electricity and how it like costs money and how like I shouldn't be there. I'm like, I just want to charge my phone so I can leave. Like I'm not like, whatever you think I'm doing here is so fucking insane, bro. Like I don't want anything to do with these fucking kids. I don't want anything to do with God, much alone you. Like I just want to charge my phone and get the fuck out of here. So that was fucking terrible, dude. And like that's the kind of shit that like kind of makes you give up on humanity. And like, you know, that whole like fucking just living in a Steinbeck novel or whatever. And then later on, like I walked like fucking 6 miles to the interstate, and like as I get to the interstate to try to hitchhike, it's like one of those windy boys that are like just the worst for waiting on, you know, because like as soon as they hit the ramp, they're already sped up, and then they're on a curve, so they can't even see you, and it's like about to rain. I'm like, oh wow, you know, still kind of crying because I'm like, the fucking world hates me, like I'm poor, everything's awful. And then like all of a sudden this fucking beautiful, amazing person named Kendrick pulls over, and he's like a kind of like a AAA guy, so he gets paid by the miles or whatever. And he was like headed to Charlotte, which was north of me, and I was trying to get back to Columbia, which is south. He's like, man, I get paid by the mile. Hop in the truck. I'm going to drive you all the way. And I was like, the world is tight. Dude, bad shit has to happen for cool stuff to happen. I was like, you know what? No, it's just, I don't know. It worked out really well.
That happens all the time as soon as that you start traveling, these extreme highs and extreme lows, because, you know, you really get dragged through the shit. And then somebody gives you like some like old tortilla chips, and you're like, the Lord loves me.
Yeah, dude. Christ has risen. I love tortillas.
Jesus Christ. But that story beats out a lot of other stories that I've heard, because that is just the worst type of situation. Hypocritical of, you know, religious people who, you know, it's insane.
Right. This dude's like a pastor or some shit. Like he's like, you know, like I'm like, yo, and I remember screaming. I was like, would Jesus do this and shit like that? You know, like I'm trying to crank out any lines about how like God was or Jesus was homeless and all this shit. And he's like, Jesus wouldn't be like, you know, fucking hanging around with these kids charging phones, stealing electricity. And I'm like, well, first off, there wasn't electricity back then, but like, you know, you would let Jesus charge your fucking phones. Like, dude, this is so ridiculous. Like, I'm not asking for shit. Like,
these people think Jesus was like a Middle Eastern white man who drove a pickup truck and got drunk on Friday night at Applebee's and beats his wife. That's not who Jesus was.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, this beats out most stories. So it's like horrible things that can happen to you while you're traveling. But I mean, things have gone good though. Have you ever had to do anything like fly a sign, some kids will fly a sign, and we would do it and go. I had a friend who was such a crusty fuck. He would fly a sign, and then he would go get a bottle of rum, some crab meat, and he would take me bowling. So every time I catch up with him in St. Louis or anywhere I was at in Washington, he'd go fly a sign and make enough where we could go bowling and get fucking shit-faced and eat imitation crab meat.
Well, those go hand in hand. Yeah, I mean, I've flown a few. Well, I mean, for years, that was my only option was to keep traveling, was to fly signs. I mean, it's not. I look back at it now, it's not something I'm proud of. But when you're that young and you want to see the country, and you know, there's only so many options to be able to do that. And then until I found busking, yeah, I mean, that was a huge thing, and like gas jugging, and you know, to me, it wasn't like fuck you, give me money. It was like, dude, if you can spare it, because like I do when I can. Like it didn't seem that bad at the time, and I still don't think it is. And I always give money to people when I see them. But as far as these days, like I can't, you know, because I can, you know, I got 2 legs, I got 2 hands, I can fucking busk or like do whatever I got to do. But you know, there's going to be a point in time where I'm going to be stuck on the road. I'm going to have to do it again. But you know, well, I feel like
I was talking to other people and they said, you know, I don't have to do it anymore. So everybody graduates to some degree as soon as they go from flying to get a banjo or something, and you never have to go back. You really never do. Or juggle or something, you know. Yeah. Just
any little thing, and like it limits you, and you got to like carry some extra shit. But in the long run, it's worth it. Like as far as busking, like I make more money in quicker time doing that, and it's fun, and like it's, you know, it's my art and what I believe in, so it's like a double whammy situation.
You think that just having that guitar and having that be able to stand up and play anytime, that opens doors for you no matter, and you guys went to Mexico, didn't you?
Yeah, we did like 40 days in Mexico. We almost did the entire country. That was
really
that. I mean, we just missed like the East Coast and then down into the tip. So like we started in TJ and went down the West Coast, and then to like Guadalajara, Mexico City, down to Oaxaca, and then all the way back up again. So what
was the highlight?
Yeah, the $5 grams of cocaine. no, dude. There were so many. Like, there's so many. Like, just the culture and the hospitality alone. Like, just that. Bam. Like, been to Spain, been to France, been to Canada. Like, a lot of fucking places. But like, family oriented. Fucking, I don't care who you are. I'll give you the shirt off my back. Like, we have nothing. Here's everything. Type of shit that's in Mexico is like, and the punks down there, because a lot of the punks in the States are like fucking too cool for school, and like they hate on old timey shit. But down there, dude, like the crustiest lords of lords were like circle pitting to us. Like they didn't give a fuck, because like they don't get Americana shit down there like that. So the shows and like, you know, grandmas, little kids, like punks, like fucking hipsters, whatever, they're like, just every single person was so about it. And like, yeah, I mean, just, you know, I fell in love with like 32 different people. Like, I mean, it was just fucking, it was amazing.
Yeah. And Mexico City as well.
Yeah. Well, Mexico City was, let me think, what the fuck did we do in Mexico? I've been there a couple times on a couple different tours with, I went there with a metal band before too, but yeah, Mexico City is like kind of a lot. It's just, I mean, and it was it was like the safest, sketchiest trip I'd ever been on. Like, there's just like there's so many roads that you're not supposed to take, and like we didn't know. And like I remember we took this bad back road like towards Durango. There's like the toll roads you can play, and then there's the free roads. The free roads are sketchy roads, not, you know, the cops aren't there. There's no checkpoints, so that's where all the cartel is. But we took one by accident at night, which was, I remember we pulled over on this like dirt road, and like I had the like shit, so I like pulled over. And then we got to Durango, and I'm like talking to this girl about it. She said, "You took what highway?" And she was like, "You would have been better off shitting your pants. Like, don't ever fucking stop on that road." And she was like, "They literally, like, we can't walk the streets at night here because they just like kidnap people." And they're like, especially y'all, like y'all are fucking nuts. So it's like we would do stuff and find out later how sketchy it was, or like be too drunk and hanging out with so-called cartel members at parties. And then we would be like, yeah, whatever. And then the next day we're like, holy fuck, what the fuck we were doing? Like, but you know, if you're fucking cool and you're not an idiot, like you can survive, you know.
Yeah, but nothing bad necessarily happened during your time in Mexico.
No, I mean, we got like the cops would rip us off and shit and lie about the tags and stuff we didn't have and like take all of our money. But other than that, it was like, oh, it was chill, dude. It was fucking great. I know people that bad shit have happened to, you know. I have friends who went down there and never came back.
Really?
They came back in a body bag.
Yeah.
I know of one instance that happened. It was a person I didn't know, but it was a friends of a lot of people that we know. But they were also riding trains. I've yet to do that down there. That seems like a whole different ballpark.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, it's like if you're in a car and you got money, it's fine. I mean, the busking, like, we didn't make shit, right? Like, we didn't make any fucking money. But I mean, you made enough. And, like, the busking is, like, fucking phenomenal as far as people watching. You don't get rich, but it's, like, you will survive. Yeah.
But did you get invited into people's homes and you get home-cooked meals and stuff like that?
Every time. Every fucking time. Every venue cooks you food. Every venue, you either sleep at the venue or you have a place to stay. And it's, like, I don't think I slept for 40 days. Like they don't let you sleep and they don't let you not eat. And it's just like, did you
have yourself some elotes?
Oh yeah. All the fucking time. That was like the cheapest thing that was on every corner, you know, like tacos and elote. That was like that. Yeah. I lived off the fucking corn and like the fucking tacos and like sat on the toilet for half the trip.
Right. Yeah. That happened to me. Look, I was stuck out there at some point at the very tip, and I had driven all the way down in the car, had a pack full of shit, musical gear, and got so sick with like E. coli and amoebas, and I lost more weight than I like can really lose. And then by the time I started looking like I was gonna die, I decided I'd drive back, and it took me fucking like 2 weeks to drive back, and it was a nightmare, dude. It was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And we got close. We got close to the border and stuff. There was all these burned out gas stations and stuff, and I ran out of fucking gas. I ran out of gas like 30 minutes to 45 minutes outside the border, and they took me to some gas station. Some guy took me to a gas station and took the rest of my money. And then when I got out of the gas station, it was like the big needle skip where everybody like looked at this white guy coming out of the car. Yeah, I knew I was in some shit. And like the police robbed me all the way back and stuff. At one point I was like arguing with him, and he took half my money. He's like, all right, you're in rough shape here. I'll take this and you take that. He only took half. Because I argued with him enough. I was like, I fucking need this, man. I need this.
Dude, they're fucking ruthless down there, man. Especially, yeah, driving around the border was definitely fucking sketchy, because I remember our tour ended like in Monterey, but we had to return our rental back to TJ, and we only had like 2 or 3 days to do it, so we had to drive along the border all the way across Mexico.
Oh shit.
And that was just like, and like we got motels every night, you know, for fucking good reason. But yeah, that was fucking gnarly, dude. Like just stopping and using the bathroom in places where you're just like the slums of the slums type situation, where it's like they have nothing to live for. Like they, you know, well, the cartel, they'll take you for anything.
You're right. The cartel is hanging their bodies off the fucking bridges near the border all the time. At one point, the border around Mexico, it was the murder capital, like Juarez, Mexico, murder capital of the world, 8 years running or something like that.
I was just in Juarez in February. I was just for stupid reasons. I was on tour and we stopped in El Paso and I was staying with my friend. I played a house show at my friend Allison's house and she was like, "You want to go to Juarez?" And I was like, "I don't have a passport." And she was like, "Oh, you don't need one. You don't need one." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So we were like, "Let's just go get tacos and drink mezcal and get wasted and like get some fucking souvenirs and go to Juarez." And I was like, "Well, shit, dude, they have like those pharmacies there. I'm gonna fucking get a bunch of Tramadol and Xanax." You know what I'm saying? So I was like, "Fuck yeah." So we just walked across the border, dude. No check, no ID, no like, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Mexico." Just like, go. And like, I was like, okay. And then I was like worried about getting back across. And I was like, but I had been to Mexico a bunch. So I'm like, I'm in the fucking system. Like I have my ID. Like they'll let me back in. We ended up, so I went to the fucking pharmacy, you know, I got his tattoo. This is like the pharmacy guy. When you see that guy, you can buy whatever you want. Dr. Simi. So we like, it was her birthday or some shit. And we were like gonna get tattooed. We were like, dude, we're gonna get fucking tattooed. Let's get tattooed. But it was a holiday. So everything was closed. And she was like dead set on it. I'm with 3 girls who are very fluent in Spanish, so that helped a lot. But we're like walking through the hood for like miles trying to find this sketchy tattoo shop, the only tattoo shop that's open. And like I kept stopping and being like, I'm not comfortable. Like this is not chill. It's like dark streets. We're in fucking Juarez. Like this is the fucking dead zone. I clearly don't belong here. And then we like walked in the tattoo shop and they're blaring no effects. I'm like, we did it. We made it. I'm fucking fine. I'm comfortable. Let's fucking do this. And like, you know, face tat Magoo, fucking 13s everywhere. Is like, what you want? And I'm like, I want a fucking Dr. Simi tattoo. He's like, you like drugs? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, all right, let's do it. And I'm like, yeah, all right, tight. So it actually fucking worked out really well. And I also like survived Juarez. I just wanted to do it. You know, like bad ideas are just like, I can't say no.
Right, right. Well, like it's not just like danger, like jumping out of a plane, like that kind of fake death. It's like real social danger where you're you're mixing it up with the other very dangerous gorillas, you know. And it's always been a thrill for me. But I walked over the border in Laredo the night before that. We crossed with our car the next day, but we went across, and then the next day we had we had weed and mushrooms hiding in our car. And before we tried to go into Mexico, we just asked them stuff like, can we come right back or whatever? And then they searched the whole car before we actually drove into Mexico, took all the stuff apart, took a big bag of fucking magic mushrooms, left it on the seat, like took it out of the case that it was in, and then like put it on the seat. And then just came up and was like, you're good to go. Have fun in Mexico. Bye. It's like, dude. I walked back to the car and there was this bag of mushrooms sitting on the seat. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I've been searched before when they had it in their hand. Like, but it was like, you know, rolled up in some socks. I remember I got pulled off a train in Idaho, like right outside of Pocatello, and I just got an ounce of weed from Denver, and we got pulled off a train. We fucking ran or whatever. The cops jumped the train, fucking pulled their guns out on us.
Oh fuck!
And they're like, freeze or we'll shoot. And I just threw everything down. I was like, fuck this. Threw my suitcase, my guitar down, just put my hands up, and they open up my suitcase, and the first thing he grabs is this like bundled up thing of socks that has an ounce of weed in it. He grabs that, holds it in his left hand, and then with his right hand takes everything out of my suitcase. So he's holding it the entire time, and I'm just sitting there like, you know, fucking Idaho with an ounce of weed, bro. That's like at least a month in jail, if not longer. And he's just moving everything out, and he just looks around, puts everything back, and he's still holding a fucking ounce of weed in his hand. And he just puts it back in my suitcase, and he's like, here's your trespassing ticket. Get the fuck out of my town. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm leaving right now. Like, holy fuck, bro, you're just holding like the most weed that's ever been through this town ever.
Thank God they're not educated.
Oh, they're fucking stupid.
God, they're the fucking worst, I'll tell you that much. Everybody that out there listening, my personal opinion about the police is they're all fucking dickheads, because it's a choice. But prove me wrong, kids, prove me wrong.
Yeah, we need if there are going to be cops, they should probably go through some sort of homeless fucking adventures in their life before they start just dishing out fucking tickets and taking people to jail when they've never been in that position.
Right. Well, this is a lack of empathy that is part of the problem with people that are on that side, that have authoritarian kind of mindsets where they just listen to what the authority figure tells them, and then and that gives them the excuse to be as violent and primitive as they want to be. So, but police aren't fun. When I was a kid, I would get arrested for smoking weed, and they would go ahead and tell my mom that they were almost going to shoot me because I was fidgeting around so much. I'm like a fucking 90-pound little white kid who's stoned out of my mind in a rural town in Colorado. And it's like, oh yeah, they were going to put me down because I was going to pull out a fucking assault rifle and waste them,
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. I think the biggest obstacle is not sleeping under bridges and being around quote unquote sketchy people. My biggest fear is cops.
Right.
For sure. Those are the people that fuck with you, not the people who are fucking sitting underneath the bridge with you. They're humble and down to earth more than the average person.
Right. Or it's the frat guy who comes along and wants to urinate or set fire to a homeless encampment. Those are the guys who are the real dangers. But for whatever reason, society is rewarding that kind of behavior more than it is people like. So yeah, the whole thing, the meek shall inherit the earth. Like, we'll fucking see about that,
Yeah.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
But we're gonna make it happen. Well, look, we're here. We're gonna make our voices heard. People know that these hobos you pass in and these dirty kids you see in the street, we're fucking people, and we're good fucking people. And this whole
good intentions.
And this whole thing is going to blow up soon, I hope. And I hope that people start to become anti-capitalistic and anti-fucking consumerist and start fucking wearing the same clothes every day and start giving a fuck about animals and plants and all that fucking shit.
Yeah, in a perfect world. I was listening to a podcast my buddy Mike Brody did, and he's got some like pretty amazing like anarchistic views towards the whole traveling culture. And he was talking about this, and he was like, whether or not you think it or know it, but by riding trains you are protesting. Like, no matter what your views are, like even if you don't know it, you're doing it. And I was like, damn, that's like, I've never heard it put that way before. And that like hit home. I was like, damn, that's fucking rad. Like, that's totally true. Like,
yeah,
just a free ride.
Well, we don't think about it. We just want to travel. But in reality, those kind of things, when you eat out of the dumpster, when you try to pull food out of the dumpster and survive off of that, they hate that. And this is the reason why they started locking up dumpsters and pouring bleach on food. Like, corporations have started instructing people to pour bleach over food in dumpsters so that people can't eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, they want every fucking penny they can get for some goddamn reason.
Have you ever eaten some dumpstered food in your day that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, fucking, I don't think I can eat Little Caesars ever again, but yeah. Had a healthy Little Caesars diet for years.
In Baton Rouge, it was the Domino's, and every night at 9:00, these rednecks would just throw out all the pizzas, and they would just be fresh, no problem. It's delicious.
Yeah, no, just as good, dude. They got a little fucking dumpster spice to them too, man. It's like a plus.
I
love that shit.
We go up in Birdhouse in Buffalo. We go on big sprees of doing that stuff, and you'd get, soft melons, green meat, and like 10 Hawaiian pizzas that have been fermenting for maybe a week in the sun, and we eat the fuck out of them, and they're not half bad once you cook them.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's a protest. You're absolutely right. It's not just frivolous lifestyle shit. We're actually doing something, and we got a purpose behind it. And like, people shampoo their fucking hair too much. There's too much. There's actually sweeteners in most toothpaste for no reason. The list goes on. So yeah, everybody out there listening, just go fucking nuts. Stop buying all this shit. Start riding trains for free. Start eating out of the garbage. All that. What else? Oh, squatting. We got to cover squatting. You've hung out some squats?
Yeah, I squatted a few houses in New Orleans back in the day. And just, as far as just the old abandoned house next to the train yard a couple times. But I mean, I lived in a squat in New Orleans for a long time. And this is, October to May. You wouldn't, I mean, I know people do it, but I wouldn't be able to squat in New Orleans in the summertime. But that squat ran for a few years, and it was actually really fucking nice. They actually ended up tearing it down, which is a bummer. But
You ever had something like pneumonia about being this? Because I got pneumonia like crazy because of something happens in the summer and smoking buglers and shit. I just fucking I lost it, man.
that's probably from the bugler.
I sounded like Tom Waits for like fucking 3 months.
Dude, that's how you get that blues voice.
Hey, y'all. I sound like Wolfman Jack.
Yeah, I like to think of like seeing like people riding trains, and they're like, "Hey, what's up? My name's Kyle. I'm from Ohio." And then as soon as they get to New Orleans, they're like, "My name's Butt." Yeah, it's like somehow in between that train ride from Ohio to New Orleans, you just turned into Tom Waits, and right. I'm fucking about it, bro.
I've seen these kids become hard overnight, like go from having, being all clean, shirt tucked in, to all of a sudden they don't know where they look like World War II pictures, the before and after, before the kid goes to war, and then after it's just like rings under his eyes. And God,
it was that one side out in the middle of nowhere for fucking 18 hours. They just fucking they got like flaps just hanging from all over their clothes, and like just face tats just appear.
Yeah, they're
just jingling all of a sudden. They got all this noise, fucking 3 pit bulls. Happens, dude. New Orleans, it just happens when you go there.
Did you spend time in California? Like, California has not been cool for a long, long time, but have you spent some time there in your travels?
Yeah, I've done I've ridden trains a bunch and hitchhiked all over California. I did a bunch of weed work there.
Yeah.
I remember I was hitchhiking and got dropped off in Arcata, and they dropped me off right at that park. And there's just, 85 fucking looks. And I was like, I remember he dropped me off, and I remember chasing after the car, being like, no, please don't drop me off here. They're fucking harmless or whatever. But I was like, damn, dude, me and 95 other people are trying to fucking dumpster the same pizza right now. This is not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, California's mad blown up like that. But as far as the trains are still cool. Like, you'll run into people, but yeah, it's not my play. Like, I wish there was different people in California, because I would be there if that was the case. But
so I've never ridden trains in California. What's it like to ride a train kind of up and down the Pacific coast, or is that even possible?
Oh yeah, no, it's totally possible. I mean, you're not. I mean, depending on where you go, but the main route is from like Portland down to Portland past Redding, and then into Roseville, like not far from Oakland. And it's just, it's fucking gorgeous, dude. It's beautiful. Like, you go through Mount Shasta and all that. It's a really long, fucked up train ride past Klamath Falls. Like, so it's, the crew changes are like Portland and then Eugene and then Klamath Falls. And then from Klamath Falls to Roseville, it's kind of like that weird deserty California. So it's not the most beautiful, but if you don't know that terrain very well and haven't seen it very often, it is gorgeous, but it's just fucking hot and miserable. And then once you get to Roseville, it's kind of like near Sacramento, sort of. So it's just like, it's just awful, like Methville. But
yeah, I mean, people,
it's tight, dude, and it's fucking easy. Like, like riding trains out west, like no one gives a fuck. Like, the workers don't care. Like, there's no fences, there's no nothing, but there's twice as many people too at the same time.
Interesting. So you're saying the bulls, the railroad bulls, the people that would pull you off the train, where are they the worst in the country, you think?
East Coast.
Okay.
But by far, because, well, and you got to think about it too. I mean, they can be bad, and I've gotten tickets in Sacramento. There's certain places that they're just like kind of fed up with it, I think, and there's still no jail time out there from what I've experienced, but it's also like in the West Coast, it's like one line takes you here, one line takes you there, one line takes you here. In the East Coast, it's like spider webs. So it's like getting on the wrong train is just like, it's going to happen. and just the security is just so much more, you know, because the West Coast in general is just more laid back and more liberal. So out here, especially in the Southeast, like Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, all that shit is like, they don't fuck around.
Yeah.
So you got to be like 007 for sure. And it's like twice as hard.
Is there any truth to the thing that they have thermal, like aerial radar on like trains coming in and out of the border? Can you hop trains to Mexico?
I know you can. I've heard only about the infrared stuff coming into the States from Mexico. So like in El Paso, that's supposed to be like a huge hub where people get pulled off all the time. And I don't know if that's because they get spotted or from the infrared, but I know that riding into Canada, especially from like the Michigan area or something, is like super chill. Because I'm about to go there, and my buddy was like, if you have trouble at the border, they turn you away, let me know, I can give you riding info or whatever. So I guess they have done it recently. I've never done it, and that's not something I would want to do.
Yeah, right.
I just, you know, that's not, like, I try to stay out of the way as much as possible, but crossing borders is a whole different situation, and I'd much rather have my car there. But,
right. So, but
yeah, if they do deny me, I'm riding over for sure, because I have a whole tour booked over there. So,
yeah, and I'm glad that you keep touring. Everybody out there, check out Yes Ma'am. It's an incredible show. Like the albums are fantastic, but to see these guys in live, I mean, you can't miss this guy right here, his voice and his presence. So, whatever, all you oogles out there listening to this, because you got nothing better, check it out. But have you did you spend any time in Europe? Because I'm in Europe now and I live here, and there's not much of an oogle scene. So when people come through, I always want to know, what was it like for you?
So I had a interesting experience. I broke my foot the day before I flew to Europe, and like our whole get up is like the suitcase and the bells and like all the shit. But you know, I didn't know my foot was broken. I was like, oh, it's just sprained. Like, I'll just lay off of it. Like the first couple of shows, like I won't be able to play the suitcase or whatever. And then we flew into Madrid. And then by the time we got to, I want to say Barcelona or Valencia, I think. I can't remember where. But I was sitting outside the show, and this like drunk punk comes up to me, like leather jacket, studded out, huge mohawk. And he's like speaking in broken English. He's like, he could see that my foot's broken. He's like, oh, let me see your foot. Let me see your foot. And I'm like, get the fuck away from my foot, dude. Like, it hurts so fucking bad. Like, I don't even know what you're saying right now. And he's like talking to my friend. He's like, I'm a foot doctor. I'm like, motherfucker, you went to college for the Casualties albums. Like, you're not a fucking foot doctor. Like, get the fuck away from me. And turns out we went to his office the next day, and him and his dad like own a fucking doctor's office that's dedicated to the foot. And I'm like mind blown by that. And he like gives me an x-ray, and he's like, yeah, your foot's fucking broken in 2 different places. So, and I was like, tight, dude. Like, and you know, like everything, it's like, I didn't have to pay for anything because it's fucking Europe. And he was like, I was like, cool, let me get some fucking pain pills, bro. Like, I'm in pain. This fucking sucks. He was like, you're so funny, you fucking dumbass Americans. Like, this is Spain. We practice old medicine. Like, and he hands me a box of syringes. And he's like, after every night, you need to inject yourself in the stomach with these fucking syringes. And then every night you have to switch sides. So it's like anti-blood clot syringes or something. So like after every show, I'm sitting in the van like, I'd have to like stab myself in the stomach. And like, I don't do needles, dude. I can't. Like, it's fucking awful. Like, our tour manager ended up having to do most of them. But yeah, so yeah, my whole trip in Spain, I was in a fucking wheelchair, and God bless Bob, our bass player, who carried all my shit and pushed my wheelchair like up and down cobblestones, stairs, fucking. This was like a month and a half long. But yeah, we went to Spain and France, but so we started in Madrid, went over to Barcelona, went down the coast into Granada, and then we went to France and did like just southern France, like Toulouse and a couple of different spots. But it was absolutely fucking amazing. Like the hospitality is just as fucking gnarly over there. Like, it's so good. Like, they feed you. You slept at the venues. Everybody took care of you. It's fucking beautiful. Like, yeah, just fell in love with the atmosphere and the fucking people. And, you know, granted, I was in a fucking wheelchair the whole time. So I would really like to go there with my feet again. That would be tight because it was like raves until like 8 a.m, and I'm like on crutches and like falling on cobblestone. Like my feet are fucked. Like I should not have done that. But like, what am I gonna do? Fly home? Like I was like, so yeah, my feet are ruined for life now. But
Do you have trouble walking now, or is it always a little funny?
They hurt. If I walk like if I walk like 8 miles, I'll feel it, and then the next day it'll be hurting. But yeah, I mean they hurt all the time. If I sit wrong for like 10 minutes, my foot will start hurting. But
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, the skateboarding, is out the fucking window. So I'm just gonna oog it up now, I guess.
Yeah, oog it up with style. Well, you're getting, we're all getting older progressively as the world turns. So you got to take care of yourself, and we don't want to lose any more people. But if we do, we're gonna have them on the podcast so that we got the legacy, carved in stone up on YouTube. But yeah, take care of yourself, man.
Yeah, I'm trying my best here.
Yeah, try your best. But so what do you think? We're 45 minutes in. We could take a pause and we can come back later and do more, or what do you want to drive more? How you feeling?
I'd say we could do another 20 minutes now if you want.
I'm down.
Or we can come back.
Tell you what. So, you ever been to Denver? That's where I'm from.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time in Denver. I was with my friend Katie, and she met me in South Carolina, and she told me about the Earthship Biotecture in New Mexico. You ever heard of that?
Earthship, yeah.
Yeah, so they were doing like an internship basically, and it was like $150 or something. You stay in like this mansion and you build all these Earthships, which ended up being some fucking green capitalist bullshit. Like fuck that place, but it was cool. It was a great learning experience, but it was also like I'm never gonna live in the fucking desert. So like everything they teach you to build is meant for the desert, and I was like, god damn it, like fuck.
Okay. Oh yeah.
But yeah, we basically just like dug holes, and I found out we were building a house for like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, and I was like, man, we're not getting paid. Like I just sold my truck to come out here. Like they didn't feed us nothing, and like so I'm like spending money, and basically all we did was dig holes. That's basically all. I could teach you how to build an Earthship in 5 minutes, like from my voice. I wouldn't even have to show you. Like you just hammer tires and you make a frame. You build a house. It's dirt. You just pile dirt around trash, and it's a house. Like you don't need to go do that internship. And now it's like $2,000 or something. Anyhow, fuck that place. So we left there. We went to Denver, and I guess a friend of a friend. Yeah. So I got dropped off in Denver, and I had a friend there who lived there. Her name's Katie, and I was like really sweet on her, and we had like gone out drinking all night long, went to bar, fucking, I'm like close to, browning out, and then I'm like, all right, now we're going to go back to your house and like watch a movie and hopefully make out. And she was like, oh, I live with my dad, and like you and your dog can't stay there. I'm like, okay, cool. She was like, yeah, but there's this punk house you could stay at. But this is like 3 a.m. She's like, they're probably all asleep, but like, they don't give a shit. Just go to the backyard. There's like a shack. You can sleep back there. And I was like, okay. She didn't ask them or anything. But I was like, whatever. So I'm like drunkenly going through this alleyway, like stepping over all this shit. Like, and I get to this shack and I'm with my dog, and I go to sleep in this shack, and I wake up, and I woke up, looked down, pissed myself, covered in piss. So I like my sleeping bag's soaking wet, my pants are wet. So I'm in my underwear, shirtless, like covered in piss in their backyard, like hanging up my sleeping bag on the fence. And I look around, and there's like 15 dead chickens.
Oh my God. Just
like mauled. And I hadn't had my dog that long. And I just, turns out he kills chickens. So I'm like looking around, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like taking a second to like put it together, and then all of a sudden like 9 people from this house come to the backyard who all live there, and they're like, okay, why are you naked? Who are you? And why are all of our chickens dead? And I was like, yo, like my friend said I could stay here, like blah blah blah. And then yeah, that's kind of how I moved into that house, I guess. I just like got sweet on a lady that was living there, ended up living there for like 2 years. But Yeah, they had to. So we wanted to eat the chickens, right? We were like, let's not let them go to waste. And like, but none of them are dead. They're all like, you know, because my dog's an asshole and just like bites them, and that's it. But
Yeah, you got to put them
so
down.
yeah, we had to kill these chickens, but like we didn't know how to do it, and I didn't want to do it because I don't fuck around with shit like that. But like it was my dog, so I felt a duty to have to do it. So we're like trying to stab them in the neck with this like shovel, but it's just like making it worse. And then all of a sudden I'm like, fuck this, and I grab a brick and start beating it in his head, trying to kill this chicken. And like, you know, later we find out you just got to wring their necks, you know. But so there's like this auto shop next to the place, and they're like watching us do all this, and they're like, God, these fucking weird people, dude. They're just like slaughtering all these chickens. And then like 20 minutes later, the city shows up, and they're like, yeah, we got a report of you guys having chickens in like city limits of Denver. It's like a $1,500 fine. And before they showed up, we had plucked them, and they're all in the oven. And my buddy Sal answers the door eating a chicken leg. And he's like, we need to like come into y'all's house and like see these chickens. And my buddy just like eating a chicken leg. He's like, what chicken? It's just like we're like eating the dead chickens. So anyways, I kind of saved them from getting a $1,500 fine, and then like ended up like dating the lady that was living there. So I just moved right in. But that was like the coolest punk house I had ever lived in. That's when I got introduced to like anarcho punk, and like it was cool to wear skirts and makeup and like whatever. And we did Food Not Bombs and stuff like that. But that's my Denver story.
That is a fucking story.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a fucking chicken killer on my hands, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I was living in a punk squad in Buffalo, Birdhouse. We a friend of mine got all excited about the animal auction. You could go to the animal auction out in the country and get yourself some chickens or a duck or rabbits or something for cheap, and people would be over there bidding on it. And these animals are in terrible condition. It was really sad. And but he would constantly go up there with his Subaru and bring back like a goat and chickens and stuff and bring them back to the punk house. It's like, dude, you're going to get us in trouble with all this stuff. And he brought home a goat, and we named him Stinky. And like little kids from the hood in the neighborhood would be like, what kind of dog is that? It'd be like, this is a devil dog. But at some point we had to like slaughter like a pig, and it just then like this punk squat turned into like a house of nightmares. You know, there was like cow hooves of animals just hanging from the ceilings in every room and stuff. And just at some point there was a 900-pound pig we slaughtered. 600 pounds of it was like wasted and just put on the side of the house and just started rotting until the neighbor came over and was like, you should really go check around the house. I went around there, and it was so smelly and so humid. It like you know, in movies when there's a dead body and they go, oh shit, I could chew on the fucking smell of this dead fucking rotting flesh. It was
yeah. That's what it smells like in the back of my truck right now.
Ooh yeah. So what, you had the accident?
Yeah, I had the like plastic to-go containers where you can put like a dozen eggs in, and I took those from South Carolina out west to Arizona in February, and I just found them this morning. They're in the back of my truck, just like mutating, and it's just the gnarliest shit. That's why I was late to go on this podcast with you, because I had to. I mean, there's no cleaning it. I just got rid of them, but like. You know, I Lysol the back, and now our fiddle player's about to meet us in Chicago, and she has to live back there with me.
That's going to be so nice.
It sucks, but it's also like I'm such a trash lord that like I can handle it, but to her, she can't, and it makes me really happy. Yeah, it's just like pile it on this disastrous trip. Like, of course that's like gonna happen, you know.
You just meet some people and you just think, I want you to suffer just a little bit.
I hate that quality in me, but like, man, you know, like in Big Daddy where the kid like throws sticks in front of rollerbladers, like I love that shit.
Right,
you know?
right.
Like, as long as you don't like die, you know, it's like the little shit that I love seeing a little bit of suffering. But right. You know, as long as it's in all good fun or whatever. But
I think if you do enough suffering, you realize that it's actually not too bad for you. You end up a little bit stronger or wiser. So when you see other people suffering, I get kind of giddy because these stories are so fucking good.
Yeah, especially if it's past tense and it's like a story where now you can finally laugh at it. It's fucking great.
Sure. Let some time pass. And this is, yeah, I can do that now. I can do that now.
I wanted to tell you about, because you were talking about wanting to do kind of Christian fundamentalist, like fucking crazy people hitchhiking situations.
Sure.
I've got one of those. It's probably, I'm kind of blanking on a lot of stuff right now, but that was probably the weirdest week of my life. I was with these people for a while. But this is when I was leaving Denver. Me and my ex just weren't hitting it off. And this is like October, maybe a little later. So it was like, I have to go now or I'm stuck here for the winter because I'm not hitchhiking like middle of the winter all the way to South Carolina. So I left to go east to South Carolina from Denver, and I get to Limon, the truck stop.
Oh,
Limon.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was there for 2 days, nothing, just fucking nothing. And then I got kicked out of the gas station there. So I'm like, well, like, are you guys hiring? Like, is there a house that I can live at? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I can't, like, I'm fucking stuck here. So I just started walking. And like when you walk east to Limon, there's literally fucking nothing.
Corn.
But I'm like pretty young. I'm like 18, 19. I'm like 19, I think. So like, I'm just like, once the on-ramp doesn't work, like you just kind of got to walk sometimes. So I walked about 8 miles. And then I get to a rest stop and it was freezing cold. It started snowing that night. And I just got in the bathroom with my dog. And I was like, fuck it, I'm not sleeping out there. Like, not for him, because I only have one sleeping bag. So I had him like all in my sleeping bag, and I'm just sitting there on the toilet, just like reading Slaughterhouse-5. Like, what the fuck am I doing? But anyhow, so I was, and then the next morning I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna walk. I'm just gonna keep walking. So I walk a few more miles during the morning, and a fucking cop pulls over. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, I'm walking because I got kicked out of Limon, whatever. Like, I have no choice. And I was like, can you take me like to the next exit? And he was like, dude, there's nothing for like miles and miles and miles. So he takes me back to Limon. Drove me back to fucking Limon, bro. Dude, and I'm having a fucking mental breakdown. Like, I'm young as shit, right? So like, I'm 19. Like, I'm not even that comfortable sleeping outside yet. Not alone, And then I get there that day, and then finally I'm sitting there, and I see a fucking hippie bus, or like a van, but it's like all painted and like peace signs and shit. And I fucking jumped in front of their van. I halted them. I was like, no, you're not driving. You can fucking run me over and kill me. I don't care. Like, you have to stop right now. And I like go up to the window. They're like, hey, what's up, man? Where are you headed? And I'm like, I'm going east. Like, please tell me you're going east. And like, man, we're headed to Cody, Wyoming. And then he looks at his wife and he looks back at me and he's like, but we'll give you a ride anyways. And I was like, sick. I was like, all right, fuck yeah. So I get in the car and I'm like, they're going to take me to the next exit, right? Like, 30 miles away and turn around. They're just like doing me a solid. So I get in the car and then he's like, yeah, we'll give you a ride, man, as long as you don't mind talking about God. And I was like,
oh, man.
But, at the time I was like, I'll suck God's dick right now. I don't give a fuck, bro. Dude, I'll read the whole goddamn Bible backwards. I don't give a fuck. Like, yeah. So, and like, we're like 30 minutes down the road, it's chill. Like, it's him and his wife. They have a dog. I have my dog. Everything's fine. And then he's like, just starts talking about God, like real serious. And then he like hands me the Bible and he's like making me read the Bible from like, this is like page 1, dude. Like, I've never been to church in my life. I don't know. And I'm trying to like fake it with this dude that I'm like really religious. I don't need to read the Bible. I'm already there. Like, we're on the same team. So I'm like reading this Bible for like hours. Dude, we're driving till like, 2 a.m. This is me reading the Bible for like 8 hours. And then they're evangelicist or whatever. Like, they like speak in tongues. So we like stop at this truck stop finally, and they come in the back with me, and it's like a giant floor and then just a seat in the back, and they sit down Indian style. And like, hey, we're just going to pray for a little bit. And he's just like rocking back and forth and like, just saying like Bible verses. And then all of a sudden he's like, and like screaming, dude. Like, it gets louder and louder and louder. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck did I do? And you gotta think, it's freezing outside. It's snowing. Like, I'm stuck here. Like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. We get to this preacher's house in Kansas. somewhere or something, and we're like staying with this preacher's house, which is really fucking awkward because like I feel like I'm gonna burst into flames at any point in time because like, you know, I'm like just leaving Denver. I'm like fucking super anarchy, like political, like crust lord. Like this is back when like I had hope and shit. And like, so we stay at this dude's house, and anyways, we're like going, and they're like, all right, we're gonna go to this lady's house. This lady he won't stop talking about this fucking lady. And this goes on for like 3 days. We end up like north of Louisville. And I'm so geographically stupid that I didn't realize that we were off track, like going to South Carolina. And we're like north of Louisville, and we get to this lady's house. He's talking about this lady, how it's super crazy. This lady's like at the top, dude. She's like handles snakes. She's like on TV. She's like this super fucking evangelicist, like talks in tongues. She's like the lord of the fucking brainwash people, you know? So we get to her house. We've been in Amish country for like 2 hours. There's people on buggies. There's no major highways. We're in the middle of nowhere. We get to her house and knock on the door. This fucking dude in goth gear, like fucking, he was just like covered in like, you know, just super Slipknot gear. And he like has like a fucking Slayer shirt on. He's like, you guys are here to see my mom, aren't you? And the guy's like, yeah. And he just like goes to his room and lets us inside. And so we're sitting there waiting on this lady to get home. And they start praying again. They're doing the tongue thing, bro. They're like sitting on the floor. They're like, come pray with us. Like, and they wanted me to start speaking in tongues. And I was like, and I called my ex, and I was like, no one's going to believe this shit, dude. And I called my ex and just let her answer the phone. And I just set my phone down. I was like, no one's going to believe this. And they're just screaming. I'm like, dude, when I say they're screaming, they are screaming in this lady's house who doesn't even know we're there in tongues with their fucking Satanist son, like fucking playing fucking Grand Theft Auto in the next room. Like, I don't like, so I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get some fresh air. And I go outside, and it's about to be dark. I grab my pack out of the van and get my dog, and I just run. I just ran for like miles and miles in the middle of fucking nowhere. I get this gas station, and I'm just like what the fuck is happening with my life? And I'm realizing that I'm like in northern Kentucky. Like I'm fucking, it's even colder here, and now I'm further away from my home. And I meet these fucking young ass, like 15-year-old kids, and they're like, hey man, what you doing? Man, like, you want to go to my friend's house and like smoke some weed? And I was like, fuck yeah, it's freezing cold. Like, I need somewhere to stay. I'll stay anywhere. They're like, oh, his parents are cool. They don't care. And they get in their car. They live across the street from the house I just ran away from. So I'm just sitting there and my dog couldn't come inside. So I was like, well, I'm fucking sleeping outside no matter what. I go inside. It ends up being Spice. So I'm fucking super zooted out of my mind on fucking Spice with these 15-year-old kids. And I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here, dude. And I just like grabbed my dog and ran again. And as I'm running, some dude just fucking throws a fucking slushie at me. And I get fucking slushed like in the snow. And I'm like having a fucking mental breakdown, dude. And like, but I mean, to like just to like point out, like this went on for like 7 days of them screaming at me in a van in tongues, and they like found my Rolling Thunder anarchist magazines in my pack. They went through my shit because they could tell I was like a lost soul or whatever. But dude, let me tell you, they were looking at me in the eye one time. He would not stop looking me in the eye when he was speaking in tongues, like going off on this crazy fucking huge chorus of a fucking tongue speaking thing. And he's staring at me and like, you see the light, you see the light, you see the light. And as I'm looking him in the eye for so long, like I'm trying, like I'm not blinking really, so like my eyes are watering, and like I'm starting to see like a fucking light, right? Like, and I'm tripping the fuck out. I'm like, what the fuck is this dude doing to me? And that happened. That was really weird. A lot of like weird God shit happened on that trip. I remember we picked up a home bum who needed a ride down the road. And we went to a Walmart. They went inside to go get dog food, and I stayed in the van with this home bum. This home bum is wasted, and he's sitting behind me, and he's like, you know, like can barely speak English. And out of nowhere, he just goes, God wanted me to tell you that he loves you and cares about you. And then bam, he just fell right back into the like drunken fucking. And then I looked back at him, and I was like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, yo, yo, yo. And I'm like shaking his shoulder because he's like passing out drunk. I'm like, yo, what did you just say? He's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I was like, you know, just like little shit like that would fucking happen on that trip. And I was like, I like started to write a country song like as a joke that I had found God in Missouri, but like that was not the case. You know, like I still in my mind, I was like, these people are fucking crazy. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Maybe God's real. I don't know, but I know that they're not on the right track, and like maybe he's real. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, I don't know. I bailed on them. Fucking they drove me all the way to northern Kentucky from Colorado and went out of their way to give me a ride, and I just fucking bailed. Like fuck those people, dude. They're super nice. I appreciate them, but they're fucking insane and brainwashed. And yeah that was
no.
That was fucked.
No, this story almost makes you want to believe in the supernatural, but even so, it's like, no, these people are most likely clinically insane.
Dude, yeah, and even if it was real, like I'd rather fucking not believe in it as long as I don't act like they do. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
God.
that. I don't want to be that fucking gone. You know, like that's fucking crazy.
What did they say about music? Were they like hip into music, or did they? What was their
No,
deal?
dude, it's just God. There's no conversation other than God.
Yeah,
The entire time. I mean, this is like, it was probably like 5 days total. But I mean, like, when I say that we read the Bible the entire time, we read the Bible. I wrote the Bible. I read the Bible to them while they were driving. Like this is like hours and hours, dude. And like, I don't fuck with shit like that. Like, I don't read the Bible. This is not like to me, it's like a cool story or whatever. But like, I'm so anti-religious that like, I'm dying in the inside.
Yeah.
But like, it was just so cold and I needed to ride. But yeah, no, they were not into music. They were not into anything. Just God. That was it. That's all we talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when they give you kickdowns for being, and they say God wanted me to give you this to you, that's okay. But don't get in the fucking car with them people, especially them evangelicals. Like a Mormon, they'll try to brainwash you, but they do it all subtly, and they like ring your bell and come in and bother you. But that's a different level. Evangelicals.
Yeah. Speaking of Denver, there's like a huge, we call them Christians, but there's like a big like punk Christian scene there, and they live behind our house, and we were like, you know, the rowdy fucking punks that like drank beer and like just played fucking country music or whatever, but they would hang out, but like, you know, they didn't drink, they didn't, you know, but they're still to this day some of my favorite people on the fucking planet. And Christians do a lot of rad shit, almost like more than punks do, and like whatever their message is, as long as they're not cramming it down your throat, I don't give a shit what you do or what you believe in. But like they when it comes down to it, they're feeding thousands and thousands of people. That doing too. Really rad shit.
Right. It's just sometimes they get their values interconnected. See, what happened in the 1980s is the neoconservative movement got Ronald Reagan and everybody. They started taking religion once again and using it as a tool to do political things. But before that, religion has always been like, you know, feed the homeless, be nice to people, turn the other cheek, you know, spoil the child, spare him the rod, don't beat your fucking kids. Jesus stuff, you know, being nice.
Yeah.
And they use that, they weaponize it against the people and have been doing it for a while. And so now people don't even, like a lot, religion is actually going down. The membership in the Catholic Church and all these churches it's on its way out. But
yeah, good.
Yeah. You don't need here's the thing is you don't need a theology to be a fucking good person. And that's the one good thing about religion is it teaches you how to be a good person. All the superstitions about what you can eat and what you can wear and when you're supposed to sit and when you're supposed to stand, doesn't matter. What matters is they all taught you to just try to be understanding, try to be nice, don't be vengeful, etc.
Yeah, the Elysian meals, like the food share thing that me and Harlan actually started in New Orleans, we would be out like serving people. And we would run into like other like fundamentalist groups, and they'd be like, "Oh, what organization are you with?" We're like, "The People." I don't know, like what, like why do we? They were like mind blown that we weren't like having funds given to us or we weren't spreading a message. I was like, "Nah, we're just kind of giving away food because that's like what you do."
Tell the folks out there a little bit about it, where they can donate too if they want to like help people eat. I know it's still going, right?
Yeah, it's still going. It's far from out of my hands. I'm the king of starting fires and running away from them. But yeah, they're still going strong. I know you'd have to double check this, but you can find them on like Instagram at Elysian Meals. I think I'm not even gonna. I know what the Venmo used to be. I'm not gonna say it now because they might have changed it. But I know some of my really good friends, like Dizzy, our old washboard player. I think she has a big hand in it. Harlan also is probably still linked up with them. But yeah, they. I'm not sure. You know, like I said, I'm out of the loop. But for a while, we were doing 600 meals a week, and I want to say that they're still doing that, and they're linked up with also Southern Solidarity, which is a group that's kind of all over the country, but they have a big stronghold in New Orleans, and they're holding it down too. So yeah, Southern Solidarity and Elysian Meals, I would check them out.
Yeah, everybody out there, these are fantastic people that are musicians and artists who are pitching in to help their community. So if you can, go over there, check them out, donate some money or give them a follow or whatever. But, you know, these are homeless kids basically helping other poor people. And it's amazing. It's not FEMA, you know. These are people helping people. Check it out.
It is really rad, dude. Like the amount of like, all we'd have to do is like, people come out of the fucking cut with nothing, you know, all the homies. Like we'll just put on a show at St. Rock and raise like, you know, thousands of dollars. And it's like, these are coming from, like homeless / broke as fuck motherfuckers. Like everybody pitches in $2. You got everybody coming. That's a lot of fucking money. And then that turns into fucking, you know, thousands of people getting fed every single fucking week. It's not hard, dude. And then like I appreciate that community so much, and I wish that was fucking so as strong everywhere else too. And I know it is a lot of places, but that was a beautiful fucking thing.
Yeah. And for everybody out there, keep that kind of spirit alive, like dude, empathy and all that, you know. So tell me where you're going next. Where you heading to? Where are you and where are you going?
I am at a fucking Shell station next to a Waffle House in like upstate South Carolina. I just left. I'm in my truck with my dog. I'm headed to Chicago. I'm playing a festival in Chicago May 7th. I got to be there on the 6th to pick up our fiddle player. We're playing a show in Chicago, or a festival. It's called Moonrunners Fest. Holy Locust and a bunch of other homies are playing. And then we got a show in a driveway in Akron, Ohio, which I'm fucking pumped about. And then we're just kind of floating around. We're just, me and Elena, our fiddle player, are like just on busking tour for a little bit. And then I got a long haul tour starting May 25th that goes all the way up the East Coast from South Carolina into Kansas.
All right, we're back. We cut off yesterday. He was talking about Canada and going up there, but we're back right now. Day 2, he's on the road. He's made it a bit further. Where are you at today, Matt?
I'm in Louisville, Kentucky.
And how is the weather there?
It is kind of crappy. It's nice, but it's gonna rain soon. But yeah, I got my truck. I'm hanging out with some buds here in a few hours, so. Yep. I'll be getting out of the rain soon enough if that happens.
Nice. Man, so we were just talking about hobos and these crazy guys, you know, like sometimes you get a singing hobo, sometimes you get a stabbing hobo. You never know what you're going to do. But there is a gang. There's like I didn't know this, that there is a gang, an organized posse of hobos that can they can maybe put out a hit on you. What's up, man? What happened?
So the FTRA is like a well-known affiliated group. I don't know if I would call it a gang. They definitely are, I guess. And I've met a few of them who are just like legit old school, like older hobos who are just ride trains and they're chill. But there's like with any group, there's some bad apples, and you hear about like hobos riding the rails, another hobo serial killer. So like it's happened like a few times where these like old school dudes are like killing people in train yards, and if they interact with like the younger crowd of hobos, like there's just no respect level whatsoever, and like you gotta like earn your fucking stripes by like being old and like having some fucking dumb nickname. But yeah, I met there's this guy Dirty Mike who was based out of the ACA yard in Richmond, and he would sit at this, he like lived at the southbound catch out spot to ride southbound trains out of Richmond towards Florence. And when he wasn't like riding, that was like his home base, so he'd live at this camp. And I remember I went to Richmond. This is one of my first rides too. I was probably like 18, 19, and I was with my friend John and another two of my friends, Adam and Riley. But me and John got in an argument with Adam and Riley. Long story short, they fucking bailed and we're going to leave a day early and catch the train. And then we were going to go the next day. And then we got in a big argument. They called me from the train yard and they were like asking me for help. to like get to the train yard. And I was like, fuck y'all. Like, we're in an argument. Like, I fucking hate you. You guys suck. So I didn't help them out. And then I guess they figured it out and they met and they called me and they're like, we're here with Dirty Mike. And I've heard about Dirty Mike, like only bad shit. Like only like he's this delusional home bum who like claims he's part of the FTRA, claims he's like killed all these people and all this shit. And they called me and like, we met Dirty Mike. We're at Dirty Mike's camp having a bonfire. And I was like, you're having a fucking bonfire? Like, what the fuck? You're blowing up the fucking spot. Like, you're going to go to fucking jail. Like, don't have a fire in the fucking train yard, you dumb fucking idiot. And so I'm like screaming at them and they put Dirty Mike on the phone. He's like, fuck you, motherfucker. This is my camp. I'm Dirty Mike, king of the hobos, FTRA. I'll kill you. Like, well, you know, whatever. And I'm like, oh, fuck you, old piece of shit. Like, whatever. And then, you know, like, I didn't really think about it. But then, like, the next day, I'm like with John and we're like, yo, we have to leave today. Like, we have to go see Dirty Mike now, like, at his camp, because that's like where you wait to catch the train. And I'm like, whatever. He's just a fucking delusional home bum. I'm not afraid of this guy. And like, we get there and we like walk into the camp and he's just like, hey, who goes there? And we're like, you know, we're like, oh, beforehand, like, we have to make fake names because like he knows we're Matt and John. Like, they probably told him like our names and what we look like and shit. So like, we got these different names, but John keeps calling me fucking Matt in front of Dirty Mike like this whole time. Like, we're sitting waiting for our train for like, you know, 6-7 hours or something. And he's like, y'all sure y'all ain't the two guys that were like I was talking to on the phone? And you know, like, there's no way around it. He knew that's who we were, but he's such a lonely home bum that he like chose to believe our lie so he'd have company. But then, I mean, he's got like a giant machete like next to him. He has like all these like fucking hobo weapons sitting around in the goddamn train yard. So we're sitting there for like 8 hours and we're getting drunk and like I fall asleep. Like, I'm just like using my pack as a pillow, like laying in the dirt, waiting for our train that takes forever. Anyhow, the train comes, we fucking leave. I saw Dirty Mike a few times after that. And like, I ran into him in Florida and he was always talking about killing people and he's got hits on people. And everybody's like, he's full of shit. Like, I've had friends that have like ridden trains with him around the country. And next thing I know, I see the fucking mugshot. He's in prison for killing like 2 or 3 people out of like Texas and California or something. So now he's in prison for the rest of his life. And I'm like, yo, I just slept next to Dirty Mike. Like, Dirty Mike is a stabbing hobo. He ain't singing shit. So it's like, yo, dude, yeah. So I slept next to a murderer like in the middle of the woods who like had a hit out on me. But you know, he ended up he was not very cool, like in general. Like, I steered clear away from because he had my number and he would like call me and like ask me all this shit that he knew the answers to, but he just like was kind of testing me. Like, it was just a weird situation. But yeah, he's in fucking prison. So
Jesus
fuck Dirty Mike.
Christ. Well, I ran into a guy in San Francisco when I was staying with some friends and we were living, and there were some puppies. A friend of mine had some puppies and they were in this van and stuff. And this guy was in another van. His name was what was his name? I probably shouldn't even say, yeah, something like that. But he had killed a guy with a shovel. Oh, his name was Lumpy. And he would take the puppies and just grab them by the scruff of the neck and take 2 puppies and just walk down Haight Street and like aggressively panhandle, like, isn't this puppy cute? Give me some fucking money right now.
Jesus.
And
God damn it, Lumpy.
But like, I had limited interaction because before we were even introduced, she was like, Lumpy's coming. Be careful. He killed a guy with a shovel. I was like, okay. All right.
Dude, it's crazy how many like situations and around how many real sketchy people I've been around and like not knowing how close it was that it could have come to death, like drug dens, train yards, alleyways, bridges, like, because I've been around some fucking unstable, insane people that have nothing to live for, who don't give a fuck, who rob you in a second. But like, whether or not they were feeling it, or maybe my dog scared them, or like, you know, like walking through the hood and traveling with my dog all these years, like, I'm wondering how many times I would have been beaten or robbed unless I had him, or like whatever the situation may be. But I've been pretty lucky so far. I've only been beaten up by the cops, I guess. So.
Yeah. The hobo rule of thumb is that the drunker you get and the more unaware of your surroundings you are, the less stuff you're actually able to hold on to. You lose your dog, you lose your pack, and eventually you'll just be in jail and you don't know how you got there. Yeah. But I had to I had to pay attention to that. But at some point, stuff I lost control of stuff and just didn't have a choice, and got kidnapped and got like stuck in places for days with like crazy people. But it's like, I don't know how I survived also. But LSD, I can remember taking LSD and living on the bus and stuff, and not knowing, I just having a meltdown, not knowing how close to death I was at any moment too. So LSD kind of inflamed some of my fucking, because I mean, I don't know if you've taken LSD.
Oh yeah. Love it. Love hate relationship with that fucking thing.
Yeah. Now at some point it was, and usually I have a good time, and it's like I would take, there was this one time I took Adderall and LSD at the same time, and I couldn't fall asleep. I was just cuddling my girlfriend, just high as fuck on acid, and like I was having lightning fast epiphanies. It was like, oh, ah, oh, ah. But
acid's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I would encourage everybody that watches this, if you haven't, go do it or whatever, because that's one of the
eat as much as possible. It cannot hurt you.
Yeah. The only thing that can hurt you is your own imagination. Like when my cousin was, he's dead now. When he was 14, he thought he was Jesus Christ, and he jumped off his 3rd-story balcony because he took LSD. So if you tell yourself,
oh no.
But music also saved my ass, like funk music. I took LSD in New Orleans, and when we woke up in the morning, there was a fucking dead cat in the freezer, and nobody knew how it got there.
Oh Jesus!
And it's still like a mystery to this day.
You've been dropping acid with some goths, dude.
Kind of. I don't know. I was hanging out with some pretty, I don't know, man. Motley Crue, man. That's what I mean. Like, you don't know who you're hanging out with most of the time.
Yeah, I feel like one of the last times I ate acid, I just had like a complete mental breakdown. But it was like, later on, I like felt better. Like I just needed that release or whatever. And it's always that shitty acid, and it's always from that shitty dude who like you're like, this isn't gonna work. So you eat twice as much, and it turns out it's made by like Jerry Garcia's fucking nephew, and it's like the craziest acid you've ever fucking had. So that happened to me in Austin. So I was just like walking around, or I was sitting at this coffee shop or a bar or something. It was a long time ago. But I'm sitting there, and this guy walks up shirtless with no shoes on. He's like, "Man, what day is it?" I'm like, "It's St. Patrick's Day, dude. That's all I know. I don't. I'm like near the same boat, I guess." But he was like, "Man, I don't know. Last thing I remember was being in Phoenix. I have no idea how I got here, what's going on. Like, do you have any money that I could have? I'm so sorry." And he was like, "I got this acid, dude. That's all I got. I can give you I'll give you like a couple hits for like $5-10." And I was like, and then he pulls that, and I was like, "Yeah, man." I was busking and St. Patrick's Day is like during South by Southwest. So I've been busking all weekend. I had like $400 in cash in my pocket. So like, regardless of the fact, I'm gonna hook this dude up with a fucking a $5 and a hot dog or whatever. But so he pulls out the acid, and it's like in this like paper, and the paper's wet, bro. It's like mauled, and like not like, you got to take care of acid, like you can't just like. And he undoes the paper, and then there's like these hits, and he just like puts it in my hand, and I'm like. And he's like, "Yeah, man, eat it, dude. It's really good." And I was like, "No, it's not. Like, you didn't take care of this. Like, it looks like you jumped in a pool with it." Like, so of course, I ate like 2 hits, and I'm sitting there with the guy. He was like, "You mind if I sit with you for a while?" And I was like, "Yeah, go for it, dude. I'm just drinking my coffee." And I'm sitting with this guy. And then like 20 minutes later, I was like, I could feel it like coming on. And all of a sudden, I'm like at this coffee shop with this shirtless dude with no shoes on. I was like, "Yo, my bad. I got to go." And I just fucking ran into the streets. And I had my dog in my pack and my suitcase, like hard case guitar, suitcase in hand, dog, gallon of water, and a pack. And I just hitchhiked from Houston. So like my arms are already like jello, like from carrying all that shit. And then I just flagged down a taxi, and I was like, I don't give a fuck where you take me. I just need to like go to the woods. I need to go to the woods. I gotta get the fuck out of downtown. You know, there's like thousands of people during South by Southwest. And he takes me to Zilker Park, and my dog is fucking terrible on the leash. Like back in the day, he's like was really bad on the leash, like super leash aggressive, like would fight other dogs if he was on leash. But if he's off leash, he's fine. But so, and it drops you out of the park. I'm at Zilker Park, and I'm like walking. I'm like, oh, everything's gonna be fine. And I just had a mental breakdown. I like called my mom, like, don't ever call your mom on acid. And she was like trying to talk me down. And like I was just carrying all this shit and like tired of being homeless. It was hot. And then I like got myself together. I was like collecting myself. I was like, everything's gonna be fine. Just get to the river. So I pick up all my shit with my Jello arms, and I'm walking towards the river. And then I see this like giant fucking this banner along the river, and I'm like, what the fuck does that say? And like I had acid eyes, so it was like Crawfish Festival, and I'm like, motherfucker, there's gonna be like 9 million people at the fucking river, like, and I can't walk, like my legs are so tired, like I have to be here. I just need to be like in the woods by the river alone. And then I was like, fuck it, whatever. And I was like, kept walking, and I was like, no, that doesn't say Crawfish Festival. It says Canine Festival. And I was like, oh, fuck. And like threw my shit on the ground and just started crying again, and like called my mom back. And I'm like looking up at the sky, and there was like nothing pleasant about this trip, dude. There was like demons like eating other demon babies and like throwing them out. Like this is what the clouds were doing. And I was like freaking the fuck out. And then finally I collected myself together again. I was like, all right, we'll just walk along the river. We'll get around these people. And I get up to the banner, and it says fucking canoe rental, and they're closed, and there's no one at the river. I was like, motherfucker, dude. See, acid can fuck with your head like that, dude. Like it can be really fucking rad, but like, you know, also now that I look back at it, that's fucking hilarious. But yeah, I was like stuck with like the fucking Jello body, like for like 8 hours, just staring at the sky, like just dreading life and just crying. It was awful.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Acid's rules, dude. Yes. Eat acid. Everyone go out to your local fucking, I don't know,
acid dispensary.
Yeah. Acid dispensary. Go to some dumb rave, like in a field, and just ask for like the really shitty stuff. Like you want it to be wet when you get it. That's
yeah, right. I guess.
That's the demon good stuff, bro.
Oh man, I usually had a good time, but there was times I also had a bad time. But either way, it was exciting. Shit.
Yeah, I've been traveling around with this DMT pen. You ever fuck with the DMT?
One time, and it was only on accident, but because it was like a prank somebody pulled on me, I didn't have a fun time.
Oh, that's fucked.
So, but I went to the moon and I came back.
Yeah, it's like the most powerful fucking hallucinogen there is. And now it's in like the little carts, like the vape pens. Like that's what I have. So like you just, you know, fucking hanging out at the bar, just go to the moon for 10 minutes, come back, I guess. But you know, it's a terrible idea. But yeah, I can't do it sober, right? Because I got too many problems in my life, and it'll just like come crashing in and be like contemplating life and shit. But I always do it when I'm wasted. So I'll be like blacked out, and I'll do it, and then like it'll just sober me up instantly. Like the fucking rocket just gets launched into space, and I'm just like, no, why'd I do that? Why'd I do that? Why'd I do that? You know? But then I come down and I'm like wasted, so I'm like, yeah, let's do it again. You know, so I just keep blasting off DMT in public. But I think I'm done for a while. I wanted to bring it on tour so I could share it, but
yeah, I have no idea what the long-term effects of something like that are. But it sent me too far too fast. Where LSD was bad enough that it lasted 16 hours, or whatever, you know. But that stuff, and you know, immediately they were like, "Hey, it's your birthday. Here, hit this pipe," and I hit the pipe, and I just I just fell backwards, had no control over anything, almost shit my pants. I had to run to the bathroom while people were laughing at me.
I would have been laughing, dude.
I know, dude. Pointing at me.
Yeah, if DMT lasted longer than 10 minutes, I would never do it. Ever. It's almost too much as 10 already.
I was just telling my other friends, like, dude, I have got the doors of perception blown so wide open that there's like a cold breeze of craziness blowing in, and I need to like shut the door a bit because I have done too much.
Yeah, Yeah, no, people I like went to school with when I was younger, like they stayed on that, and like you can tell, like some people it like permanently fucks their shit up. Like they're always kind of spacey now.
I met a guy in like Grass Valley, California. Only he used hallucinogenics to get off of drinking, his alcoholism, but then he was just taking acid every day all the time, or taking mushrooms all the time, and he would just eat the weirdest shit. And he was like, I need you to, if you go to Safeway, I need you to get me an entire rotisserie chicken and a pineapple. Like that's all the dude ate was like rotisserie chickens and pineapples. It's like that. And
yeah, dude, I can't. You can't be eating acid every day.
He was. My dog was eating toilet paper, and he's like, "Did you ever consider maybe that the dog knows what it needs and just wants the fiber?" It's like,
oh my god,
that was actually pretty cute. But yeah.
You ever think that like the Grateful Dead actually sucks and you're just on acid all the time?
Right. And dude, if you've ever been on Haight Street, you've seen like there's some legendary people. Like Bag Lady Betty was like an old home bum that pushed a cart around, who got dosed out a long time ago with like a massive amount of LSD and never was the same ever again.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories about that.
And there was a guy in San Francisco called Fast Eddie, and I seen him before, and he asked us if we wanted to sell LSD. But he was like a mobster who was down with the Grateful Dead family, which is like a mafia organization that sells drugs outside of Grateful Dead shows. I'm probably going to die now for saying all this. But that dude's dead now. But dude, I seen him roughing up all kinds of people.
Damn. When the family gets mean, bro.
It's tough. I saw you went to the gathering of the Juggalos.
Whoop whoop! That's my fucking family right there, dude. No lie. The greatest experience of my entire life. Oh my god, by far.
Before you tell me a story about it, I want to just tell you that I was also at one point in my life down with the clown, because I was white trash from Colorado. I don't know. I went to several concerts and like painted my face and the whole 9 yards. So how was it?
Well, that's good to know that you took it that far. See, I just went to like gawk in the background. But...
I had it bad, bro. I had it bad. You went ironically, but I was in it as a 17-year-old kid.
I went to like, it was kind of just like a social experiment, because I went with a lady friend I was seeing at the time, and I was like, man, like they're going to say something fucked up to her and I'm going to have to fight like 9 million juggalos. But then like we made a promise to each other. We're like, let's just be different people for fucking 2 days, dude. Just like swallow it and just keep walking, and then like, and still that worried me. But seriously though, dude, like I don't know what's happened with them in the past few years, but they got checked pretty hard from what was my understanding. Like there's like a feminist juggalo movement going on, which is fucking rad. So like I didn't hear, there's like a lot of like, show me your butthole, like, or whatever, but like, the usual NASCAR shit. But like, I didn't hear, there was nothing like too gnarly that like I had to put like my fake personality away to fight somebody. Like it was chill, but it was also like, it was disgusting, but it was, yeah. I think that's like with any festival sort of, but it was like, all the people that shouldn't be naked are naked. And like, there's just like, a lot of people are like, oh, you dropped your smile, that kind of fucking dumb shit. But yeah, every single band music I saw was just like fucking worse. But like I was on so much ketamine, and like they had like nitrous fucking, like the real like dentist fucking welder nitrous machines everywhere. Like, and there's just like cocaine, like all kinds of drugs. So I mean, when you're that fucked, it's like you're like starting to nod your head to the music, and then like my girlfriend's like, hey, stop. I'm like, oh yeah, the shit sucks, punk, or whatever.
But were these kids nice enough though? They seem nice.
Well, that's the cool thing about juggalos is like they're open to everything. I mean, they're punks as juggalos.
Did you see fist fights going on?
No, I didn't, dude. Like I said, I didn't see anything really negative go down. Like I saw like, yeah, no, I didn't, because like there's only so much I could take before I like snap out of character and fight somebody for fucking being a shitbag, especially like towards women and stuff, because that's what I went in thinking. I was like, this is these kind of people. But like, you know, they're always like, they don't like, their big thing is like everyone's family. Like, we don't care what color you are, like your sexual orientation or, you know, sex or anything like that. Like, they're down with everybody. So like, you know, I don't know how they talk behind closed doors, but like the ideology that they have on the internet, it makes sense. And I'm fucking down with the clown, bro. Juggalo for life, dude.
Yeah.
But check it out. So when we went just for the last day, which is like the biggest last day. And I was like, I'm not paying for this shit, right? Like, there's no. Like, I'm not dropping $200 one day to have a bad time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's like the main entrance going in, and there's like a line of cars. I was like, nah, go around that shit. Like, go around, we'll find the back entrance. So we're driving around the back entrance, and we find it. It's a field, and there's fucking ICP's tour bus just sitting right there. And there's all these tour buses. And there's no signs, there's no fucking security, there's nothing. And we just park across, it's like a small field parking lot. Here's the tour bus, we park behind it. So there's like a gap, but we're like pretty much right next to ICP's bus. And we park and we're like, let's just try to walk in. And we're like, it's me and my girlfriend at the time, and we're like walking towards the gate, and I'm like, dude, there's no one watching anything. And then all of a sudden I see a yellow vest dude. I'm like, oh, here we go. And he's like, oh, I see you guys as passives. And I was like, oh man, I was just talking to Janet. I got Janet on the phone, and I'm like, I've been on a vodka for like no sleep, just every morning for like 4 days. That's when I'm at my best. I could convince a bank to give me money, like, and not call the cops. Like, you know, that like drunken alcoholic magic that you get sometimes just for being so wet brain. So I'm on it, right? Like, I'm running the show. Like, this fucking peasant in the vest is talking to me. Are you kidding me? You know, so I'm like, oh, I haven't talked to Janice. Like, she's got the merch. We have to unload the merch right here. And I'm like, we're going to park right here. And he was like, oh, y'all need to go to civilian parking. And I was like, civilians? Bruh. No. You got it twisted. Check your fucking list. Yes, ma'am. Look it up. We're playing this evening. Because we got there like pretty early. And then like, I just got inside of his brain and like made him like look at the list. But then he like was so like, he didn't want to get in trouble, right? Because he like, to him, I'm like this huge deal. And he's like, all right, y'all just go over to this booth and talk to Janice or whatever. And then I was just like, we started walking towards the booth. He wasn't looking, and we just walked right in. I was like, that is how it's done. So dude, like, yeah, I'm gonna go every year and I'm never gonna pay, dude. Just tell me you're with Yes Ma'am.
I fucking love that, dude. This brings up that whole subject of like the mental jujitsu that you have to be good at in order to survive or get, you know. That's beautiful.
Yeah, there's the bad kind too, like the psychopathic like ex-partner brain game shit, which is not chill. But like, you know, just to like get into a festival or like, that's, you want those powers, and I hold them. The only problem is I have to drink 8 months worth of Taka in a row to unleash these powers. But hey, it saved me $150,
dude. All I have to be is hungry, or you know, and I will say what I have to say. But no, I mean, I remember my friend Josh. He was, God rest his soul. He was the same way. By the time when he was like this, when he started swaying back and forth, that's when he had the most like interested people around him. Like, and like girls loved Josh. Girls absolutely loved Josh. And so I'll never forget him. One of the memories I have of him, me and Raymond too, watching him sway back and forth and just captivating two young blonde girls. Drunk out of his mind, like, you know, he's not even gonna remember where he is tomorrow. But I don't know, God rest his soul.
Yeah, I love, dude. I'm like, there's just like, it unleashes this. I mean, this is such an alcoholic thing to say. I've actually been off the sauce for like over 2 weeks now, until I'm actually drinking a beer right now. But yeah, it was like a year straight this past whatever, I don't even know what fucking month it is, but like the year, whatever, I was like on the sauce super hard, and I was convinced that like when you I love waking up drunk and like wet brain, like everything's funny, like everything's very entertaining, like, and then it unleashes this like weird thing in my brain of like creativity. Like, it's great for music, it's great for being like the fucking jokester funny guy. And then like I kind of look back at it now and I'm like, no, you were just fucking drunk and annoying the shit out of everybody. But there also is some sort of alcoholic power there, that like your brain is just smush and like everything is just like, you can twerk it out a little bit.
Well, this is inhibitions. This is alcohol killing the inhibitions, which is common sense and the reality and knowing that you're just mortal and all this terrible, terrible stuff that we're supposed to just continue and feeling the pain of like just gravity pulling on your fucking skin and your bones and just, but when you're drunk, you don't feel that and you become the life of the party. And some people maybe find it annoying, but some people really like it. And because people feed off that energy. So if you have a lot of energy, dude, you will attract the masses, man. People want to see an expression of human existence, you know. And alcohol brings that out of some people, but alcohol will also fucking kill you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. I feel like it's you know, I'm pretty good with like my shit. Like you know, I've been doing it so long that like I learned how to not be the drunk, really annoying guy, even though I am the really drunk guy. Like I can still, you know, I'm cleaning up after myself. I'm not breaking anything. I'm not being a dick. I don't fight. You know, it's like I can do both. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. And they also say for everybody out there that non-drinkers live longer than non-drinkers on average.
Non-drinkers live longer?
No. Non-drinkers live shorter lives than drinkers. Drinkers live longer. So people, but that's like grandma who has the glass of wine, you know, a few days a week.
yeah.
But no, but it's
not the gallon of taco.
No, not necessarily. But look, you going through life sober, knowing the people that you've met and having the experiences that you've had. It's hard, man. I've had friends that killed themselves at 29. And we've watched it happen. Watched him need gallons and gallons of liquor until his kidneys and liver just failed. It's a hell of a thing. But at the same time, going through life sober, I don't know what that's about. That seems terrible.
Woof, dude. Yeah, there's substitutions you can do that aren't gonna ruin your life. Like I've been on the kratom quite a bit. That's helping not drinking and like just I mean, as far as like being alone, I'll be fine with like weed or whatever. But like social events, like shows and stuff, yeah, I gotta have some sort of fucking gas in the tank because I can't. Sobriety, especially with COVID and everything going on, it's like, you know, when you're sober and drunk people are screaming fucking COVID breath and hot bush into your face, it's like, man, this is a lot, you know. Yeah, there's just I like you gotta to me like the complete sobriety is not something I'm interested in, not right now at least.
No. For me, maybe one day, but the smart thing is to try to, as your life becomes more routine and that you have the support from the people that you get, which is happening with me. Like if you have love and support, then you can start to try to make changes in your lifestyle if you want to. But at the end of the day, life isn't really worth going through sober. I don't understand that at all. But I quit smoking cigarettes and stopped eating meat, and that's a pretty good thing. But
yeah, that's huge.
But I tell you what, when you quit cigarettes, you'll get depressed. That's the one thing.
Yeah, that's a big one for me.
I expected the anxiety attacks and everything, but I did not expect to be just depressed, not having that thing that I liked to do, whatever, for stress for years and years and years.
Yeah, it's like a super sociable thing too.
Oh, as soon as you see a person, you get out that pouch and you're like, twist one up here.
Yeah, especially in Europe, dude. Everybody fucking smokes over there.
Yep. And cigarettes are about $3 a pack over here. They're cheap as fuck.
Oh yeah, they're fucking 10 for American spirits.
Yeah. It's getting worse over there. I think you can drink when you're 16 here, and you can smoke when you're like 8. I don't know, actually. But it's super easy going. Europe is an amazing place because even our friends have Puritan values when it comes to sexuality and like stuff like that. Here, they drink, they smoke, and they fuck, and they eat good quality food. and not too much, just enough. And then it's like espresso and then schnapps after dinner and stuff. And it's a whole lifestyle, and it's a bit healthier than the fucking high fructose corn syrup drive-through fucking culture I was raised in.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty fucked. I feel like that and being prescribed to like Adderall my entire like childhood, plus all the fucking fast food and soda shit. That's like, is that why I'm anxious 24/7? Like, what is happening? Like, why did it just hit me all of a sudden, like super hard? And like, everybody and their fucking mother talks about how anxious they are all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm like, are they as anxious as I am? Because like I kind of want to fucking explode right now, but I think everybody is. But yeah, dude, I think with all the fucking shit that's in our food over here and stuff, like I can't be helping.
Yeah, there's an amazing amount of sugar in the food in America. My wife had sugar shock when she came to America. She tried to eat things there, and it was just, she'd get terrible shakes and stuff from the pancreas overworking, and then
Holy shit,
you get a sugar shock. So no, it's not good. And yeah, I mean, I was raised in a fast food restaurant, and all I ate was fucking ice cream and fucking Dairy Queen blizzards and Dairy Queen hot dogs and Dairy Queen fucking French fries and shit for years and years. And then I discovered the scam where you drive through the drive-through and you're like, so I just called on the phone and like you messed up my order, and they'd be like, all right, whatever, come to the window and we'll give you a cheeseburger. Dude, I lived on that shit for 6 years doing that. I did that.
Oh, yeah.
Just before I came here, I was doing restaurants. You could call, I get on the smartphone now, and you would say, Applebee's, yeah, I got a big to-go order. You missed out on the chicken salad. I'm just going to swing by. I'm getting off of work. I'll come pick it up. And they're like, okay, we'll have it ready.
Yeah, no questions. I feel like my solid move is when I feel like being a gentleman is asking somebody if they want to go on a date, but being like, but we got to get up at like 7 a.m. And they're like, yeah, where are we going? I'm like, it's a surprise. And you just take them to like, the Hampton Inn fucking continental breakfast. Dude, that's like my move, because I love getting up early and shit, dude. So I'm like always walking into hotels and just like walking out with like the stacks of bananas and bagels and cream cheese and fucking hitting the waffle machine a couple times.
That is my move too. I did that notably, but in San Francisco, there was one place that didn't work, and they were like, the security came rushing out, and they're like, "You guys got to go. What room are you staying in? You got to go." And I was just like, scarfing down pancakes, being like, "Okay, I'm leaving.
Dude, speaking of San Francisco, they had a wedding in what's that park off 8? Golden Gate Park? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were having a wedding, like not that deep, like just past like Hippie Hill or whatever, and it was like all fenced off except for like this wood line that we were like sleeping on, and we're like trying to figure out like what was happening in these tents down there. And this is back when I was like, if I found a beaver on the ground, I'd sew it in the back of my head because I'm like an ultra crust lord. Like we're filthy, like just fucking filthy ass children. Like there's no sneaking by, there's no using any bathroom you're not supposed to use. But I was like starving because we're just smoking all this weed like in this fucking park, and I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. And there's like tents, and I just like walked right in, and there's like fountains of shrimp and like fondue and like waves of like, like everybody's so fancy, and like record skips, like everybody just like looking at me, and I'm just like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And I'm just like piling, because my two buddies are like sitting in the bushes, like they were like, this is not gonna work. So I'm like trying to get as much. I was like, I don't call them. Fucking call the cops. I'm fucking starving. Like, who's the groom? And I'm just like, and I just ran back to the woods, like fumbling shrimp on my way out. Like, fucking got away with it though, dude. We were feasting on fucking wedding shrimp in the bushes.
What are you gonna do? Call somebody.
Dude, that's my, when I get caught doing graffiti and shit, I'm just like, what you gonna call it? You just gotta intimidate them, and they're just like, holy shit, this dude, like, like if you're like walking through the hood, like my thing is like, I'll just start stomping. I'm like, I wish a motherfucker would, just act crazy. Like that's how you don't get robbed. Like that's how you get away with shit. You just gotta have fucking confidence and go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's like I get caught doing graffiti. I'm like, fucking bitch, the world is ending. Fucking. I'm just like, just act crazy. And then they're like, holy shit, there's something really wrong with that guy. I don't want to make his day any worse.
and tell somebody out crazies you. I did that in the airport, and they'll.
It could backfire.
It's back. I usually pull that. Like I talk to myself if I'm in the hood late at night. It's just best practice to start screaming to yourself and stuff. And I did that, and I feel like it helped. But then like I tried that at the airport and stuff, and then there was some drunk Turkish guy who like had a rougher life than I did, and he was like, he just got right nose to nose with me. He's like, what?
Oh no!
I was like, you win. It's fine.
Yeah. I was just playing.
Yeah. Damn, this guy's even crazier than me.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
Got crazy, man.
It doesn't work all the time. Like when I went to OPP, like that was not a card in my pocket. That was the card not even in the world at that time.
What happened? How'd you get an OPP?
Somebody was running their goddamn mouth. Yeah, I don't, dude. It's like it's kind of like some other people's personal shit, but they fucked up and I broke in their house and beat the fuck out of them while they were asleep. But they, you know, I'm not fucking tough, dude. I'm like 4 feet tall. I lose 9 out of 10 fights, but like this was not something I was gonna let slide. And yeah, but when I got there and there's like, dude, there's fucking people smoking crack. There's grown men like fighting each other over Pop-Tarts. There's fucking, I seen the guards like handing people drugs, and they fucking spelled my name wrong. They put Edwins instead of Edens, which is my last name. And so they do roll call at like 7 in the morning, and then everybody wants to go back to sleep. So everybody's pissed in the morning, you know? And like, I'm like, you know, there's probably like 8, and they put you in this tent. So there's like, it's not cells, it's like a giant tent. And there's like 300 people in this tent, and there's like 250 beds, cots or whatever. And it's prison. Like when you go to OPP, it's not fucking jail, dude. It's fucking prison. So it's like, it's the race thing. Like whites are with the whites, blacks are with the blacks, like, you know, so-and-so. But I didn't fucking know that. I'm like, yo, I'm in like jail. Like I've been to jail all over the place. Like it's not like prison. So I just grabbed the first cot I saw. Turns out I'm like in the Black Panther section, and like, you know, just like getting spit on, and like, and it's like 1,000 degrees. So I'm like underneath this fucking underneath this like wool blanket, like trying to hide the color of my skin. And like the dude who's like cotted up beneath me is just walking back and forth on my cot, just being like, yo, just move, just like move a fucking inch, just like move an inch, just breathe, just let me see you breathe. And like, he's like, I'm gonna fucking stab you, like while he's spitting on me. And I got locked up with a buddy of mine who did the deed with me, and he's like, he sat with the whites because like I guess he knew better, and he's over there like drinking fucking coffee and eating cookies and shit, and I'm just like, oh my god, you know, like I was seriously convinced I was gonna get fucking stabbed. And then finally this guy, this older black dude, took me under his wing. I can't remember his fucking name, man. I wish I could remember his name, but he was like, let me see your paperwork, home dog. And I like handed him my paperwork. He was like, assault and battery, breaking and entering, disorderly conduct, damage to property. He was like, bruh, hope you like my face because you're going to be here for about a year. And I was like, oh my fucking God, dude. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, fucking, like, there's no way I'm going to survive. Like, it's been like 6 hours and I'm like convinced I'm going to get stabbed to death. Like, I'm not going to fucking make it here. And so they did the super band in New Orleans and raised like $1,500 and made our bail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they got us out, which took, you know, an extra 8 hours for me because they spelled my fucking name wrong, right? So they're like looking at my tag and they're looking at my name on the paper. They're like, oh, no, that's not you. And threw me back in the fucking tank even longer after like all this processing. Anyhow, I got out, and then we like hired a fucking lawyer and shit who like saved my, like, it was like one of the best lawyers ever. But she was like, yeah, 6 months to a year. That's what you're looking at. Like, and I remember the day before court, speaking of acid, the day before court, I went to City Park and dropped a shit ton of acid. I was like, this is my last free day, dude. Like, I'm not going to come out with all my limbs. Like, fuck this. I'm just going to go fucking AWOL on some acid. And I didn't have a phone at the time. And I get back, I like come down like 8 hours later or whatever. I get back to my house, and my buddy who was with me on the so-called assault thing, he is sitting on my stairs, and he's like, yo, I got some bad news. And I was like, what? And I'm like still coming down on acid, like, you know, just contemplating life, like thinking about how I'm going to die. And he's like, our court date was today. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, the lawyers called. It was fucking today and we missed it. And I couldn't get a hold of you because you don't have a phone and you were in the park tripping acid. And I guess our buddies, while we were locked up, like got after this dude, like got him again. And we're like, if you show up, we're going to fucking kill you. Turns out he didn't show up to the fucking court date. All charges were dropped and I'm free. Yeah. So dude, yeah, if your homies get locked up for beating somebody up for a good reason, go ahead and beat that guy up and tell him not to show up for court. Cause yeah, I seriously, like, I was thinking about Mexico, Canada. I was like, I'm not going there for a year. Like, I don't wish the guy that I beat up to go there for a day. Like, I don't, like, there's not, nah. Actually, fuck that guy. He can fucking die. But like, yeah, that was fucking terrifying, dude. Yeah, and you can go there for pissing in the street. Like this, if they put you in the holding, like the drunk tank, like that's bad enough. I almost got beat up in there after 10 minutes of being in there. And I was like, and they were like, oh, we're gonna take you. All right, y'all are getting booked in or whatever. So they're like, everybody get in the line, 2 by 2, side by side. And so I'm running to like get next to my buddy so we can like be next to each other. And this guy was like, what the fuck you doing? Get the fuck in the back of the line. And he's next to my friend. And I'm like, but that's my buddy, which is, don't ever say that in prison. He was like, your buddy, huh? Your buddy? Oh, y'all hear this motherfucker? So like, as soon as I've got like, it just, before I even get in the tent, it's over. Like, I'm the guy that has a buddy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, holy fuck. Just everything I did in jail was like the wrong move. But like, you know, I'm only used to like county. So I was like, whatever. But then yeah, I didn't know we were going to a giant tent, so there was no reason for us to be together. Like, oh man, that was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life, was New Orleans Parish Prison.
Oh my god, you got a buddy?
I was like
you got a buddy?
Oh, you got a buddy? That's your buddy? Yo, you guys hear this fool? I was like, ah, fuck. And even my friend was like, no, you didn't.
I don't know this motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
Dude.
Oh man.
I mean, what are some of the more famous things that you can go to jail for in New Orleans?
Dude, pissing in the street, that's number one. And here's the deal, dude. If they feel like it, they can just book your ass for fucking like whatever charges they want, dude. It's fucking lawless. Like, they don't give a fuck. And if you go there during go to jail during like a holiday, like Halloween or Mardi Gras, like you won't see a judge for at least a week. And this is for, you know, a misdemeanor. Yeah. And it just depends on what the fuck they want to do. And like I said, yeah, they spelled my name wrong, like the littlest amount of shit, man. And like, you're stuck in there for another 8 hours because of, it's just so fucking corrupt and so fucking stupid, dude. I'm saying, like, jail for me was not fun. I feel like a lot of people in there were, if you're like cool and know how to do it, you can, you know, people were like smoking crack and like smoking cigarettes and fucking eating candy and shit. Like, a lot of people, like, you know, jail's not fun for fucking anybody, but like, yo, I know what not to do if you ever go to New Orleans fucking prison.
Yeah. And it's absolutely true. You don't go to jail, you go right to prison, and you get mixed up with murderers and all kinds of shit.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's no like levels, like the tents are the tents. Like, that's, yeah. I mean, you're talking all from pissing in the street to like raping and murder somebody. That's who's in the same tent with you, who are gonna be there forever. So they don't give a fuck about stabbing you. They don't, you know what I mean? It'll make no difference to them.
Yeah.
But dude, I remember when the guards were putting us in the tent, we like had our beds in our hand, like our cots, and literally, I'm like, as you could see the door and like the skinny little slot of the tent of like hundreds of people at the slot, like looking at the fresh meat before they open the door. The guard opens the door and just shoved us in there and slammed it and locked the fucking door. Like, they don't even want to go in there, and they got guns. Like, they literally shoved us in that fucking room. I was like, holy fuck,
dude.
But, yeah, it was pretty fucked.
Fuck those cops. Fuck those cops down there. Fuck those prison guards. Fuck all those bootlickers who lock up other motherfuckers. You know, I mean, look, there's some violent criminals in the world that maybe should be, you know, locked up. But dude, that's a for-profit prison system. That's a bunch of horse shit.
Yeah, they just want your fucking money, dude. I got beat up by the cops in New Orleans for doing graffiti. I got caught doing graffiti, and they all swarmed me. There was no running, and I remember the next day we were supposed to play the pre-Super Bowl party, which was like a huge deal for us, especially back then. And we were just like, you know, and then but they had like an open bar on Bourbon Street. Like one of my friends of friends worked there, and like they had these like special passes. So we went there, and I just got obliterated. Like, it was a brand new bar. I tagged the entire bar on Bourbon Street because it was a piece of shit bar. Like, fuck that bar. But yeah, I was just fucking being obnoxious, and like I think I might have low-key got kicked out. I don't really remember, but like I was walking alone home for some reason. But I was walking, I was like just catching tags, and these cops pulled up, and then you do graffiti, and just fucking threw me down in the fucking hood, and then like picked me up, threw me on the ground, picked me back up, threw me back on the ground, picked me up, threw me on the hood, put me in handcuffs, and I had weed on me, and they took my weed out of my pocket, and they were like, I could hear them like talking, like, man, that's some good shit, that's some good weed, you know, because it's like fucking California weed that just got mailed or whatever, but yeah, they were just, and I was like, and I'm just screaming, I'm like, I'm playing the Super Bowl tomorrow, like just like crying, just like, I can't go to jail, bro, I cannot go to jail, like, I'm so sorry, like, he was like, shut the fuck up, bitch. I'm like, yes, sir, I am a bitch, like, I have to play the Super Bowl tomorrow, don't let me go to jail. And then like he just like, shut the fuck up. And then he found the weed, and then he wrote me a ticket. He was like, we're just gonna give you a ticket, and then he let me go. And then I called in the ticket like a few days later, and they wrote me a ticket for Fat Tuesday. And I called the courthouse, and I was like, yeah, I got a court date on Fat Tuesday. I was just checking in, seeing what time or whatever, double checking. And she was like, honey, that ticket says Fat Tuesday? And I was like, yeah. She's like, this never happened, baby, and just hung up the phone. I was like, oh! I was like, these motherfuckers just beat me up and took my weed.
Oh my God, dude.
Which is kind of like, you know, I'd rather that than the court date. That was like some Mexico shit.
Yeah, Mexico shit. Mexico is when they pull you over and they smell your cup and they go, is this booze? And you say no, and they say, well, there's a little posada just over here. Get yourself a beer and enjoy the ride. They straight up said that to me, yeah.
Dude, I love it in Mexico because they're like, okay, instead of me giving you a court date, having to take off work, going through, and then paying these fucking fines, it's like, how about we don't say anything and you give me $200 right now?
Yeah.
And you just be on your way. Like, it's still fucking corrupt and fucking awful. Like, fuck them. And a lot of people don't have that money. I remember on tour, we didn't have that money. We had that money, but that was all the money we fucking had. Like, they literally took 1,400 pesos from us from going down a one-way.
Yeah.
Like, all kinds of, like, corrupt shit. But
my experience is they only take a percentage. If you have less than 200 pesos, you can, like, straight up say, all I got's 100, and they'll take the 50 and give you the other half. So, and they're not going to take you to jail. That's the thing, because they don't make money from taking you to fucking jail. They make money from bribes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I love it more, man. It's way reasonable.
I've heard about it where they will follow you. They'll take you to an ATM if you don't have it.
Yeah, that happened to us in on the coast in Oaxaca. We went to like some beach town, and they saw a homeboy who was a Mexican guy coming out of the bank, but he saw us in the car, and he walked the dude back to the ATM to get more money to give him, just because he saw gringos in the backseat. Yeah. But dude, when I first got to Monterey, just outside of Monterey, I had a car that we had just purchased that started with a screwdriver, and you had to actually get under the hood and pull the solenoid with a fucking pair of pliers in order to make the car stop. So I would get a fucking 12-volt electric shock every time I had to stop my vehicle the entire time I was in Mexico. And so I'm driving down the fucking road, and I don't realize in Mexico they have these fucking speed bumps, okay?
Topes.
They got what's called topes. And dude, it was on a 7-lane highway, and it says, oh yeah, get off the highway here. I was like, oh, there's a little hotel there, I'll stop there. And I'm going like 50 miles an hour. I hit one of these topes, and I go I go flying up in the air, dude, and the cop sees it at the same time. Well, when we land, it goes crunch, and the solenoid flies out, and so the car dies. And so I got half of my crew is trying to start it again with a screwdriver under the hood and like connect the two starter points together with a screwdriver. And I'm trying to get my money separated to where I can pay this guy money. Ended up, I gave this guy $100 fucking American cash, dude, $100. And he was happy. He was like, "Oh, do whatever you want. Have a good day."
I don't know if you could see it, but this scorpion tattoo I got in Durango, it says "No topes, no masters." Dude, you can't see those fucking things, man. No. They're just as black as the fucking road. Man, we would hit them all the time. We were in a rental, so we didn't give a fuck, but like we were like going through the small village one time, and I remember we fucking hit this tope, dude. Like, I mean, we caught air with like all 6 of us in the van or whatever, and we were like, it was like through this old ass village, and like there's these like old dudes just like sitting on this porch like outside this like tiny little bodega, and they were just like they had never seen anything like that in their lives, and we were just like joking. My buddy Joseph was joking. He was like talking for them and being like, "Remember the tale of the gringo and the tope?"
Yeah.
Dude, those fucking things, man. I remember like we would leave the shows and have like 10 people piled in our van, and like we would be driving back to the house, and they would like just be like, "Tope, tope, tope, tope." And like, what? And like hit the fucking. You can't see them, bro. And like, I guess if you live there, you know. But like, yeah, we got some fucking air, dude. The fucking topes.
And for people that don't know, at the topes in certain, like if you go smaller places, people know that you're going to have to slow down at the tope. So they come running out with like bags of chips and like stuff to sell. And sometimes, dude, that was the first time on the highway. We were in a traffic jam and there was this guy selling stuff. And because I'm from America, I was like, what the fuck this guy doing with all this stuff? But then I was like, you know what? I want some potato chips with hot sauce. Give me some of that shit. It was great.
The hot sauce is in the bag.
Yeah,
it's so
dude.
Good.
Yeah.
The fucking snacks, dude. The weird fucking snacks is like what I miss the most. Like all the OXO shit. It's like purple Cheetos mixed with like orange like rectangles, and like it's like they're like, "What kind did you get?" And I was like, "Purple." we also were like, we kept buying all these juices like because we'd mix them with vodka, just like we needed to hydrate or whatever. But like we can't read the fucking label, so there's fucking piss juices all over the van. But we're like, piss or juice? Like that was the game that we played because we're like, I don't know, we can't fucking read anything, you know. So we had a few sips of other people's piss on that trip.
I mean, that's gonna happen at some point.
It builds character.
Yeah. Oh man.
Or something like that.
OXO, you said the OXO, because our van broke, or like the Jeep. It was a Jeep that it kept breaking down, like, and so it started with a screwdriver. At some point, the fucking manguera, the hose, the radiator hose broke. I learned that manguera. So
you'll always remember that.
I'll remember that, dude. But we were in bad shape, dude. Like the Mexican girl we were with, who was our translator, was dying she was laying on the sidewalk, just like dying of some kind of intestinal poisoning. And the van was completely fucked, leaking radiator fluid. We were stuck in this Mexican town. And I went to the OXXO, and they had these Jumex, like pina colada, like coconut. I pounded down like fucking 3 of these things. And it was like it was the best thing I ever drank in my whole life, man.
Dude, having like the fucking fresh squeezed juice everywhere, like juice in a bag, like just everything is so fresh there, man. I love it.
Yeah, I miss that.
Besides like the weird like bacterial meat that my United States body is not used to, we were definitely butt sick, all of us, like, and always at different times. So it was like, which was a blessing because we didn't have to fight over the fucking the hole in the ground that we had to shit in, but. Yeah, we took our time with that one.
Yeah, I got some bad chicken mole, and that was it. I was toast. Yeah,
and it's hard to be a vegetarian over there too. So it's like you're always eating some gnarly fucking meat. It seems like.
Well, dude, on the way back, there was absolutely no way that my stomach could handle meat. Everything that was meat or cheese came right back up. So I ate beans. And that's my song. I wrote Sunshine and Parasites. That's about my experience in Mexico and then getting sick. And then I was like, please, for the love of God, only beans, because that's the only thing I can really eat.
That's a good song title.
Sunshine and Parasites. Yeah, man, it was tough. Got some bad shit. I was in rough shape, man. But no, I'm glad that I did all that kind of stuff. And at some point, we were driving up into the mountains in Oaxaca, and I had somebody fix it. We had like a wood block duct taped around the hose. We never got the hose because we couldn't get the part. So we just duct taped the whole thing with a wood block, and then the hood wouldn't close. Okay. So then I'm riding around, and I'd be going 60 miles an hour, and the hood would be going like this. Eventually, I drove this thing all the way back to California. One day, I'm just driving down the road in Sebastopol, and the fucking hood just goes, and I had to. I stopped the car, and I had to fucking take the hood off and everything. But yeah, that was a beast of a machine.
Dude, beautiful fucking disaster, man. Not funny at the time. Very funny now.
Did you happen to have some of that corn fungus sauce that comes down there that they eat? Or did you have cactus or anything crazy like that?
Yeah, like we had like a lot of like we went to like a guave bar, drank a bunch of cactus stuff, and we like it had like crickets and shit.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of cocaine involved, so not a lot of eating, especially with the butt thing going on. But yeah, man, it was like, I mean, still to this day, I can't fuck with corn tortillas. Like, I just really overdid it, man. I can't.
Oh yeah.
And I associate that with the sickness, so it's like, and I'm such a fucking white guy, like flour tortillas all day, But
so when you hit the
weird shit.
When you hit the beaches, though, people were like, cocaine, ketamine, heroin, weed, what do you need?
Dude, every fucking venue we showed up to was like, all right, here's y'all's meals, like this is where you're gonna stay, and then like it would be like a pause, and you'd be like, and you guys want cocaine, right? Like, yeah, dude. I remember at one point, like, we were like low-key getting addicted to this shit because we're doing like, because they won't let you stop. It's like, okay, I'm used to like doing a key bump in the bathroom and like being good for like, a good 30 minutes or something. But they're just like, here, mas. And I'm like, yo, my heart is about to explode. This is like real cocaine. I've been fucking snorting fucking drywall my entire life. Like, this is fucking real, dude. But yeah, every music promoter, anywhere we go, be like, so how much coke do you want? I remember it got to the point, like, we wanted it so bad because we were so used to it that our banjo player at the time was like, yes, I don't care how much it costs, and I want as much as possible. We're just like, yo, don't say that. But I mean, it was like $5 grams. So I mean, we're like, it was just lots and lots and lots of cocaine.
Dude, it's like you've been overpaying your whole life.
Yeah, for garbage.
Yeah. Dude, when I was in high school, there was a guy that was my age. Must have been 9th grade or something, dude. And this guy was straight from Mexico. He had gold jewelry, gold teeth, and he drove like this pimped out, really nice car. And I was just talking about drugs one day, and he was like, oh, you like cocaine? Cocaine? He brought me like a fucking ounce of cocaine. And he was like, pay me like $80 or something. He stole it from, dude, he stole it from his people. He must have stolen it from his people. Because, dude, it was maybe not an ounce, but it was at least a few 8 balls. Like, it was a golf ball size fucking chunk. And it was no $80 because I ended up selling $200 worth of it and then just doing the rest. And in 9th grade, that's a lot. Dude,
yeah. It's like, it's similar to like smoking weed for one of like when you first do cocaine, it rules. Like these days, I'm like, when people offer it to me, I'm like, man, is it good? And they're like, no, because it's not good anywhere anymore. But I still do it, but like I'm not paying for that shit. No. Especially Mexico ruined me, man. Mexico ruined me for a lot of shit. Like fucking rooftop sex. These days I'm like, nah, man. I did it like in Querétaro in like Old Town. I'm good. Like I'm not gonna fucking like Cheyenne, Wyoming rooftop sex right now. Like I'm not even gonna come. Fuck that.
Yeah. God.
Oh man, dude, Mexico is so sick, dude. It's like, and it's like so many things will go wrong too, you know. And it's like, and it's just like, you know, it's like bringing. It's just so there's so many people that are down and out too. So like when you're down and out, like it's not like some rich guy's gonna drive by and hook it up. It's like people are gonna come out the woodwork to help you. But like, you know, if you're fucked, you're fucked in Mexico.
Yeah.
Which is like a humbling fucking experience, man. I love that shit. Like I love getting drugged through the fucking dirt, man.
Dude, I saw a guy get murdered in fucking Puerto Escondido. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
I was at a fucking discotheque. Everybody who knows Puerto Escondido, that there's a long peninsula that goes out, and that's where like all the surfers go. And then there's this giant like American flag. Well, there's discotheques at the end lining the beach, and I was at the very last one, and we're chilling out, and we're listening to disco music. Everybody's dancing. Everybody's having a good time, and dude, the music stops. People start looking over the balcony. They're like, what's going on over here? And I can't see anything. And so I come down the stairs, and I come down to the bottom of the stairs. There's just like a big puddle of blood in the entrance of this club. And I step over that, and there's a guy who's fucking probably dead already, and he's being flipped back and forth, and everybody's panicking. They're like, oh my God, he's died. What do we do? Ah. And this crowd is forming and everything, and people are screaming in Spanish, and I don't know what's happening. And then my friends start coming out of the discotheque, and we're like, I don't know. I have to like I'm like around these people and just try to get out of the fucking way. And the really sad part was they were screaming for the ambulance and everything like that. And a taxi driver came up, and they were like, let's bring this dead body. Help us bring that. And the taxi driver was like, no, I'm not taking this guy. And he started driving away. So the mob started attacking the taxi driver and started like beating the windshield and punching the guy in the face. And the taxi driver went away. And at that same time, the ambulance was coming up and took a look at the scene and fucking drove off. The ambulance fucking just left, and we're all around on the corner sitting watching this happen. And eventually somebody came on a fucking moped with like a Toyota Corolla and loaded and had like a little convoy of like friends and family or whatever, and put the guy died. And he was a young kid who earlier that day had beaten somebody else's ass for whatever reason. And the guy came back in the nighttime and stabbed him with a big piece of wood or something. I don't know.
Jesus Christ, dude.
But the ambulance straight up saw the mob of craziness and was just left, dude. And the cops came. When the cops came, I was like, let's go. I've seen enough.
Yeah. That's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, some wild shit. And then what was funny is like later I went to Germany like the next year, and there was some German guy in some small town that was like, you're fucking with me, right? I was there. Some college student who happened to be there at that time was like, in Germany, he was like, I was there.
Oh, whoa. Holy shit. Damn, yeah. That's fucking crazy.
He straight up thought I was some kind of weird stalker guy. He was like, how did you know that?
Yeah, that's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah. That's my murder story. Yeah, it was sad. That puddle of blood and everything it was grotesque.
Yeah, dude. I hear fucking horror stories about that kind of shit. I'm waiting. I want to go with somebody that knows their shit, but yeah, I really want to ride trains down there. I think the move is just to ride south and then fucking fly back or something. I'm not gonna join the fucking convoy and riding north or anything. That's not.
I think as long as you're riding south, you'll be like empty as fuck, man. Did you ever see? There's a flick called Sin Nombre where it's a Hondurans trying to train hop to America. It's rough.
Yeah, no, I love that fucking movie. Dude, I've seen like any documentary about a train, or I mean, I guess that's a movie, but yeah. I mean, there's I think it's Ran Out of Rail is like their YouTube thing or whatever, but they ride trains all over Europe. They ride trains in Mexico, and like the shit they go through in Mexico is like, and they're vlogging the whole thing, right? So they have all this expensive camera equipment, and I'm like, how did y'all survive? And like they're like so sketched out too the entire time. I'm like, put your fucking camera away, dude. Like I don't know, but they document the whole fucking thing. Like they ride all the way from like TJ down to fucking, you know, Chiapas and shit, and they're just like, it's fucking. But I mean, the scenery alone in itself is like that. It just seems like so much fucking fun, and I want to get better at my Spanish and go with somebody that's either done it or is from there or knows the drills, because not being able to speak fluent Spanish down there is already a fucking pain in the ass.
It can be done. I know folks that have done certain amount of traveling down there. I got a friend who hitchhiked through Ecuador. He hates those people now. He's like, I hate Ecuadorians.
Oh no.
But he was straight. I'm going to try to get him on the podcast, but he was straight up stuck in the rainforest hitchhiking and didn't see another person on a dirt road. Didn't see another person for days, and just walked until his clothes and his shoes fell apart.
Yeah, I mean one a bad hitchhiking experience will make you hate some places. I'll never hang out in Kansas ever again in my life.
Me neither.
for the just like that's one of the reasons.
If we wrap up this thing, let's talk about our bad Kansas experiences. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think mine is just like the weird fucking evangelical Christians, like, and being stuck in Limon for 3 days and all that shit. Like that whole part one, yeah. That whole stretch, and then just like having to do the drive, you know, from Kansas City to Denver is. There's just nothing fucking cool about it. I spent a birthday in Lawrence one time, and my friend thought it would be funny to fucking put my hammock like 15 feet up in the air, and then I got stuck in the fucking tree and like fell out. I'd never had a good time there, and I just never really heard of anything really cool going on too. I think Lawrence probably has some cool stuff, but yeah. I'm just you'd have to go there to see it, and that doesn't seem worth it. Honestly, I think if you want to go to Lawrence and have a good time, you have to create that for yourself, because it's not a lot going on. We still have friends that run one of the only co-ops in town. He's a nice kid. He just came through town, and he's actually trying to leave America and live in the Czech. But dude, for the most part, there was a small town in Kansas that we tried to stop at it was like a drop-in. And that didn't go well at all. It's like a Christian church. Yeah. But what it was like an old Victorian house full of like old disabled weirdos. And as soon as we knocked on the door in the middle of the night, and a bunch of people came to the door, and they were like looking up the banisters and stuff, and like it was like Fight Club. Like we walked into Fight Club, and they were like, "Get this guy out of here." But yeah, no, there's nothing good about Kansas. I did tap into the last time I drove through there. I was with two lady friends of mine, and we I think it was like Salina or something, but we checked out the Airbnb, and yeah, if you ever find yourself through there, dude, like fucking, it's like $15 or something out there for a night, and it's like a house, like with laundry and TV, Netflix, and all that shit, and like that was cool, like just being like in a house trailer in the middle of fucking nowhere for $15, but like, and I just, also breaking up that drive too is like a must now. But yeah, no, fuck Kansas, bro. Like I'd rather live in Mississippi. Yeah. Mississippi has something about it. No, I mean Mississippi's got something about it, but Kansas. Well, it's pretty, and it's still the South. Kansas is ugly. Well, there's water and like trees. In Mississippi. Yeah. There's life. There's life, not just corn. Dude, we got arrested. I got arrested in Kansas and for weed, and they made we went bowling, and we just came back from bowling to go hang out at somebody's house, and the cops pulled us over and made a big fuss about it, and then put us in handcuffs for having champagne and having like a little bit of weed, and then gave us a ticket and was like, and I was like, I'm never coming back to this fucking place again. And then they would always call and bother me. And I was like, I'm not coming back, so you can forget it. And they said, we're going to revoke your license. I was like, I'm from Colorado. This is for weed. Weed's legal. Do whatever you're going to do. Nothing ever happened. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I had a cop take my license before in Kansas, pulled me over, and I can't even remember the reason why. But he, not only was it like maybe it was expired or something, I don't know, but like he took my license. Like it was like you don't. I mean, I still need to like identify myself. Like I need to have some sort of thing. And I remember he just like took it, and I was like. But I want to say like it wasn't even expired. He was just being a fucking dick. But like I had weed in the car, so I was just like, just fucking whatever you gotta do to let me go, dude. I don't know. Like just don't look in the fucking trunk. Like I don't care. But yeah, that was a fucking pain in the ass because you know I can only get him like in South Carolina, and like I'm headed to Colorado, so it's like fuck, man.
Yeah. Well, there's always loopholes. There's loopholes with all that stuff like vehicle registration, vehicle insurance. We would just fucking buy the first month of insurance and then just keep the little ticket in the glove box, and that was good enough. So if we ever got pulled over, we would just show him the insurance that was expired, and he would say, "Okay."
Yeah, we did that with the limo tour.
Yeah.
We just bought a month or whatever, and then went on tour for 2 or whatever.
Yeah. The trick is not fucking crashing into somebody like an idiot.
Dude, that fucking thing, man! What a beautiful like. As far as like a 6-7 person band, it's perfect. Right, because you got like the upright and the fucking non-existent like passenger seat, and then everybody else is like laying in style. As long as you're not driving, it's fucking fine.
I took that fucking limousine up to like 110 miles an hour in the middle of going to Austin. And Harlan is like banging on the window, like, "Would you slow down?" I'm like, "Dude, we're making great time."
Do you want to be there now or in like an hour? Shut up.
We're gonna be late. Yeah, no, it was great. But did they ever get the exhaust fixed when you guys were touring with it?
Man, I don't think we ever fixed anything. I know we didn't have headlights, insurance. Harlan didn't have a license, and he pretty much drove the entire time because he's a great drunk driver. Let me tell you.
Oh man. I love
Dude,
this.
I remember like the door panels were falling off and shit, and we were just like, I remember like leaving Charleston, and like we stayed at this house, and just like, you know, it's just like one of those nights, like you don't mean to be a fucking trash lord, like party person, but like you're touring in a limo, and like you're just fucking hammered, and the person you live with is encouraging it, but like one of the roommates was like, you know, I was like having sex with somebody on this balcony at like 7 a.m. And there's like a school across the street, and like little kids are showing up for school, which like, you know, I was not aware of, or like, you know, maybe I just didn't think about it, but like she just started screaming. That was it. 7 a.m. That's when it hit. That's when like she snapped. She was like, "All right, that's fucking it. You're fucking in front of children. Get the fuck out of my house." And like, as we're like getting kicked out, quote unquote, or whatever, like I like open up the door, and the door panel just comes off, and she just looks at me, and she just goes, "Get the fuck out of here," and just grabbed the door panel and just threw it in their yard, and we just drove off. They're like, she's like, "Who gave you a limo? You fucking idiots!" Dude, I remember we were pulling into a Walmart in like Missouri or something, and like there's like these 2 little kids on those like BMX bikes, and we're like turning into the Walmart, and we're like in a limousine, so we're like, yeah, we're cool, and like we're turning, and these little kids on the BMX bikes just like look at us drive by, and this like little kid's probably like 11 or 12, and he just goes, "Holy shit, that's sketchy." And I was like, oh fuck, dude, if this fucking 11-year-old kid knows it's sketchy, like what are the cops thinking?
Right. Oh,
holy
fuck.
shit, that's sketchy.
That's my middle name.
Yeah, dude, Sketchy Jones.
Oh man. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Dude, R.I.P. that limo, man. That was the glory days. That's when I peaked, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that's when I've decided to start getting off the road, because I actually got out of the limo at some point, and I said, "Fuck all you people. I'm going to be right here in New Mexico, and I'm going to hitchhike away." And then I changed my mind. I was like, got back in. But that was like the beginning of the end of my traveling career too.
I remember we had to pick up Elena and Dizzy from like the St. Louis airport or something, I can't remember exactly the details, but we had just come up from Memphis, and we hit the Memphis beer dumpster, which is like the holy grail. It's like a construction dumpster. It's not a dumpster. It's like one of those really long gondola looking things. And it was just filled to the brim. And I was like, we are taking every single beer. We are taking every single beer. So I remember the entire limo, like from the front passenger seat to the back. I remember Elena and Dizzy got in the car and they were already upset because they had to fly and we're like drunk and it's like 8 a.m, you know, because we were just like, we're not going to dumpster all this beer and not drink it like right away, you know, because we have fucking problems. But so they're like getting in the limo and Elena is like, there's like this much room, like just bodies length room to like dive in through the top. So everybody's just laying on cases of beer and they're just like, we fucking hate you. Like, fuck you, it's free beer, dude. Like all drunk thinking they were going to be happy about it, but they're just pissed that they had to lay on like rotten beer cans.
Dude,
man.
Where did they fly in from or to?
I think from New Orleans. So I think me and Harlan were coming from like South Carolina or something.
Dude,
but yeah, we picked him up in St. Louis.
I gotta Harlan and his family are like the ultimate dumpster veterans. Like when we went to Vermont together, they went to the Magic Hat Brewery and we just had an obscene amount of dumpster beer. And we would do that every time we go to California too. We tried to sneak into Lagunitas and they were like, y'all just come on in with your limo. You know, you guys are weird. Come on in. That was cool.
Yeah, Harlan is a dumpster wizard, dude. Every time I go through Memphis, because I don't remember what fucking day it is most of the time, or even how to spell it, but I'll call him and I'll be like, "What's that exit again?" He's like, "Oh yeah, give me 1 second." He's like, "Yeah, it is exit 74A. It's right by the cross." You know, like Harlan and his fucking wizardry, nerdy ass, fucking bitch ass self. Yeah, he's good at that shit. I remember we got kind of obsessed with it to where like we were just driving around, like going to different beer facilities and like, you know, of course, you know, 90% of them are like barbed wire and shit, but like, yeah, he's still hitting that Winn-Dixie in Chalmette.
My dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he's holding on.
It's funny. Last time I tried to kind of get him on the podcast, he's not going to come on this fucking thing, but he'll chat with me.
Nah. No, actually, even if he does watch this, which he won't, but if he hears his name, he's going to turn it off.
Dude, but
yeah, Harlan's not the podcast gonna be honor guy. I don't think.
Well, everybody out there, you know, Harlan's jambalaya is fucking number one.
Yeah, he's the chef. He's the chef, man. Fucking king.
Yeah. Nah, I had such good times with him in Baton Rouge at his mom's house.
Yeah, I wish he would come out and tour more. I know he's with his mom and shit, but I think, yeah, hopefully I could just fly him out for a few things here and there. But yeah, it's been a minute since I think it's been like 2 years since like pre-corona since I've gone out with him. But he's pretty like hiding out too. So because you know you don't want to get his mom sick. And he's playing his cards very safely, which is very smart. So
yeah. Well, I wish him all the love and support in the world because he's one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my dude. But yeah, what do you think? We did an hour 19. It's 2:00 in the morning here. Do you want to do part 3 tomorrow? Do you want to pick it up tomorrow? We can make it a whole long thing.
Yeah. Let me see. Tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, we figure out the time whenever. I got to be in Chicago by 6.
Oh, you got to drive. No, we'll call it now, and then you come back later in the month or like in the summer. We'll do it again. But I fucking love you, dude. It's really great to hear all these stories because you're exactly my kind of guy. You got all the... Dude, people, we live a life that people wouldn't fucking believe, you know?
Yeah. No, likewise. I'm glad that people like you are doing this because I want to hear other people's shit
right.
too, man. I sit and just like melt when I think about the ideas of somebody capturing the stories that our friends have. Because I'll sit around and just like bullshit train stories in front of people. And like majority of the party's like, oh God, here they go again with their trains. I'm like, shut up. No, this shit is gold. Like, you don't understand. He had the weed in his hand the whole time and we didn't go to jail.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like,
well, and
I love that shit, dude.
And when characters and places that you've been, like the Roseville Yard or the Royal Street or something, when you know the places and you know kind of, it's exciting. It's exciting. I can see, I can see the characters. I know the places, man. It's awesome, man.
Yeah, I think it's probably it might be more exciting for us because we can paint the real picture because we've all been there
And at the
in some way or another.
dude, at the very least, this is for a small group of people that are only hip to a certain kind of thing. And if young people find this encouraging or useful in some way, great. But really, this is for my friends and everybody else out there that's lived this kind of lifestyle that says, that's great. And I'll also talk to anybody. Like, I'll have some other people on. Like, I'm going to have Buff Monster come on, the graffiti artist. Hopefully.
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I'll
That'd
talk.
be tight.
But really, dude, it's about like interweaving people like us with like other people too. Like John Waters, have John Waters on, then have you on. Your episode's going to be right after his.
That's fucking epic, dude. I'm so stoked for you and us and everyone about that. That's fucking awesome. Do you know the name of that book he wrote about hitchhiking?
Oh yeah. It's called Carsick.
Carsick, yeah. I've been trying to. Well, it's been in the back of my head trying to find that book for years now. I really want to get a copy of that. I mean, I actually tried a few times, but I don't be ordering stuff off the internet because it's a pain in the ass. But
yeah,
I think that's maybe what I have to do.
I think I got my copy for $6.99 on my phone for like as a book that you can read on your phone. So if you go like,
okay,
you got Android or something, or you got Apple? Or,
yeah, I got it. I got an Android.
I got the Google, like you got Google Play, you can get Google Books. I don't know if you got the extra money, like it's all right. But the audiobook's more expensive. But it's cool. I read it on the John. It's great. But I haven't finished Carsick yet. So, but yeah, the motherfucker hitchhiked across the country, so he's one of us. One of us. Yeah, man. Nah, fucking. Either way, I'll keep in touch with you. All right.
Yeah, man, dude. I appreciate it. It's good to talk to you. Yeah, just holler at me tomorrow or whatever. We'll figure it out.
Well, wave at these people. Wave at the TV Land people. Say goodbye.
All right, bro. Thanks for watching. Tune in.
We'll see you
fucking
on the flip side.
On the flip side, cool beans, motherfucker, get lit. You know what I'm saying? Eat as much acid as possible. Okay.
Peace.